popular today, cause it's gonna be a long night. Remember, what about the time for me? It's manhunting season, so if you wanna leave, you better have a good reason. I can be real proper, I can be real classy, but if I'm your number one, I'd rather be nasty. Alright. Yo, yo, yo. I'm sure you know my name, I'm the first in command, and if you don't, I am power here by popular demand. If being a woman was a sport, I always have the ball. I'll be your number one, or I'll be nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. You need to keep this body, baby. You're running out of time. Cause when it's hot, but when it's not, it's all mine. I'm not the kind of girl who likes to curse and swear, but if you rub all over me, you better beware. I can find you cause there's no place else to go. I won't be number 3 and I won't be number 4. I am number 1 and I will gain your respect. One look at this mind, body, face, and intellect will convince the hardest critic of what he needs to know. I am number 1 and I am running this show. So now you know the deal, I'm perfect command. I am Robin Power here by popular demand. If being a woman was a sport, I'd always have the ball. I'll be your number 1, or I'll be nothing at all. Nothing at all. All right. Nothing at all. Yeah. All right. Number 1. You're number 1.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Funkatopia, the pre-show. We'll start the show in about 6 or so minutes, but a little bit of Robin Power never hurt anybody. Well, it may have. I don't know.
Hey, as long as I can be your number 1, I'll be nothing at all.
Or nothing at all. As you can see, I went back to my normal thing. I like having the green screen back there because I don't have to prep anything. I can simply just pull the green screen and then put something behind me. But I kind of feel like it's pointless unless I have something going on, unless, you know,
Yeah.
like Prince's friend, like Elon, he'll have whatever. Prince's friend will have like graphics to his right, like a newscast.
Yes. Stuff. Yeah. I mean, your background looks good anyways, and we know what it is. You know what I mean? You go, wow, that's a lot of stuff. And that's all, you know, Prince stuff, you know?
Mostly Prince stuff. That's right.
Right.
It's pretty ridiculous. We went to hello everybody. Before we get started, this is obviously the pre-show. We're going to start the show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will tell you guys that we are not on the radio tonight on the Funked Up app, primarily because of the fact that the program that I use, this is a new computer, and the program I used was working fine the last broadcast that I did, but for whatever reason it didn't save the settings, and so I now have to reset it. So catch up. They'll catch up. That's fine. All right, they'll catch up. But yeah, this is the pre-show, and then we'll start the regular show at 8 p.m. We got lots of great stuff coming up for you. Man, I don't know if you saw, but one of the things that we will be discussing tonight is the disparity between what the Prince store is selling price-wise via what they have it listed for on Amazon. And we're going to be talking about this because they did the exact same thing. Was it the 1999 Super Deluxe Edition, I think? I can't remember which one it was. No, I think it was the Sign of the Times Deluxe Edition is what they did it on. And we're going to be talking about that tonight. But I did create a link at Funkatopia.com. Did I just drop out?
Yeah, you dropped.
This happened earlier before. Yeah, if I don't hear myself, I'm dropped out again.
You're gone now.
Yeah, now it's back. What is happening?
So there's a connection issue. Something's not connected properly, but that happens. So I will say, welcome everybody to the pre-show. Hello from Tampa. We got April, Chiaria, Brian. Yes, it was Robin Powers, and yeah, I respect her hustle too. And for everybody, I'm just gonna say, for the times, yeah, she had a lot going on in that video. This, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of videos that were out, and they were doing their thing, and she was doing her thing too. So, hey, Susie, what's happening? And don't forget to mention where you're from. We got California in the house, and everywhere. You guys are all over Tampa. April, of course, and yeah, the funk starts. Greta, come on, come on. The funk starts now. The funk, you know what? The funk started the moment you logged on. That's what I'm just going to tell you. So, hey, Krista, hello everybody, and Mark, good to see you. Good to see you up in Minneapolis. I love that. Love that. Yeah, it's funny of all the places. It seems like people don't say, "Hey, from Minneapolis," like we get everywhere else, from Pittsburgh, what's up, and Canada, you know. And I just rarely see the Minneapolis post. Like, so what's up, Christina? Yes, I'm glad. Welcome back. Glad you're back. Glad you're back. Andrew Williams, my man, Andrew. Drew. I'm gonna call you Drew from now on. I don't know why. If you don't like it, I won't. But until you say you don't like it, I'm just be like, Drew, what's up? So, look again. I'll tell you, we're gonna have a killer show today. We're gonna go through some of course some entertainment news, get things started, get things going, and talk about a few things there. And as in this pre-show, I'm just gonna tell you, as you heard Chris, he was Mr. Horton. Mr. Christopher was telling you that we're going to talk about something that was happening between what's being sold, Prince stuff, and what's up on Amazon. There's some price discrepancies and some things going on. So we're gonna bring that up as well. So, you know, we got a lot to talk about for tonight's show. And I think it's going to be a blast. Hey, from Minneapolis again. Oh, there you go. Now you're putting it up there. St. Louis, good to see you. Wisconsin. I love it. Madison, Wisconsin. Hey, Heidi, I didn't know that's where you were. Maybe you mentioned it before, and I was just like, I don't know. So, yep, back Philly. And yeah, so all you guys, make sure, yeah, let's do that. Because Susie, I like you saying that share. And I know you're talking about something else, but I'm going to say, all you people that are on, let somebody else know. Now's a good time. Tune in. Tell them to tune in right now. Why not? Let's just get everybody involved. So, oh, everyone calls you Drew? Good. Well, I'm glad. Oh, Phoenix. Oh, I did. Phoenix, you're an AZ. All right. I'm just going to tell everybody, Arizona is one of my favorite places. It is one of my favorite places. I would live there. I would absolutely 100% move to Arizona. Now I know that all the water and all the other things that were going on, I'll wait till everything is happy again. But heck yeah, I would go to Arizona. No problem there. So thank you for letting me visit, because I will. Take care of me while I'm there. Make sure I go to the right places. Iowa. I didn't know. All right, Fred. Good to see you from Iowa. Chicago, Shottown. What's up? What's up? Glad we got everybody. Like I said, it's going to be a really good show as we talk about a lot of things. And of course, we will still talk about non-music related material too. So we're going to add some things. This is a free for all, so it's pretty much whatever happens. And you just guys be ready, because we're going to have we might make up something, but it won't be a lie. That's we won't make up. Just like Mr. Christopher said, no conjecture, no guessing, no rumors. We're not going to get into any of that. So we really are going to have a show that's based off of things we absolutely know. And if somebody thinks that it's not true, or we're just making up controversy, you can look it up too, because we're going to try to avoid that. Brooklyn in the house. All right. Oh, Birmingham in the UK. You're moving?
Check.
Or you're already there? Oh, okay. You're there. All right, Lee. Good to see you. Good to see you. I love it. I love it. Nick Garcia in the building. You get a front from me. That's it. Mr. Christopher, I see you're back, but I don't think we have audio from you yet.
Check.
Oh, in and out, man. In and out.
Check.
1 2 1 2. I heard you that time, so he's gonna start spitting bars in a minute. Just brace yourself because I'm gonna throw down the beat, and Miss Christopher's just gonna be like, "Well, I'm Christopher, and we're in the house. I'm not shy. I'm like a mouse." I don't know. I'm not trying to do that either. I'm not one of those that can just come off the cuff 100%, but I can get I can't really spit bars. I can spit like
Check.
pebbles, maybe like small pieces or something. No, still not hearing you, man.
I know. Check.
He said, "Please don't do that sound." Was it too loud, or did it just have you have flashbacks? Is that what I'm looking at, Nick? Nick, don't do that sound.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. It's a little muffled, a little low, but I can definitely hear you.
Yeah, and I don't know what's happening as far as like the for whatever reason, it probably sounds a little it probably sounds a little bit well, it's coming through the speakers and not my headphones for whatever reason that is. So
yeah.
And then what ended up happening is when I was making adjustments to the I clicked the power switch to my computer and everything just went.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. So I'm like totally gone.
Yeah, you went down. Oh yeah, that is real. This is a real background. All these instruments are mine. I do play them all. So yes.
Check.
That is a real instrument.
Check. Okay, I'm back in the headphones now.
So
and you can hear me okay though now?
Yeah. If I need to, maybe we'll let everyone speak. If Mr. Christopher's a little low, I can bring my volume down a little bit as well.
Check. Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing myself, but for whatever reason, it's
yeah, he sounds good to me, man. It sounds good to me.
Well, let's make sure it sounds good to everybody else too. So because
yeah, absolutely. You guys let us know. Just let us know.
Yeah, sorry. We have to have technical difficulties every now and then.
Heck yeah, it makes a real show.
That is imperative. Hold on a second. Yep. Brian says I sound muffled, still sound muffled.
Yeah, take the cotton out. We're gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Let me see if I can switch mics. Maybe that might be.
Man, Nick, we're doing all right, man.
Check.
We're doing well. Everybody's doing good. At least I'm doing okay. I hope you guys had a blast over the weekend. Some people did get to enjoy a long weekend, and some might not have. If you did cookouts, I hope you enjoyed your food, and I wish you'd invited me or send me something. I'm a little hungry, even though I had food. I'll see. You had to go and touch stuff.
Check. Yeah, no, I was making sure that it wasn't one of these. What was one of the switches where, because this is one of those mics.
Oh yeah.
And have one side or both sides, or
the diode from the back, the switch. Yeah, definitely.
Does this sound better, or does this sound better?
That actually sounds.
Check. And this is another one. It's almost like an eye exam. Number 1 or number 2?
I couldn't tell a difference. If anyone else could tell a difference, it might have been number 2 though. Susie Queen thinks so. Number 2.
And I'm going to up the level. I'm going to up the level to.
Josie said number 3. That's STFU. So, WTF? Welcome to Funkatopia. I am the illustrious co-host, Jeff Page, and over there to my that side is our illustrious host, Mr. Christopher, with his technical difficulties. Having a good time. Wait, did I say technical difficulty? Yeah, I thought I said difficulties or something.
All right, I think this is probably where we're going to be.
That's good.
But it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. You just got to be up there in the mic. When you lean back, we can tell you like, see you.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened. I mean, this is, it's just weirdness now. So.
All right. Well, it's all good. Welcome, Bonnie. Welcome back. Bonnie. the information queen, one of the information queens, I have to say.
Yeah. All right. I am so sorry. So I'm glad that everybody's okay. Everybody's doing good. Anyways, I guess we need to do our regular. We're like 5 minutes off now. So, and I'm muffled for whatever reason. And I'm Sure that
I
has
still
to-
think we need to do our cool intro.
All right, let's go ahead and minimize and do our cool intro and then take it from there and see what happens. All right, give us a minute here. Good Lord, hold on.
Oh,
Well, go ahead.
I was grooving. Sorry.
Welcome, one and all, to Funkatopia. WTF? Where's my cup? See, this is a whole debacle. WTF? Welcome to Funkatopia. You know, I only have 4 of these mugs left before I'm going to have to order some more. So if you have not gotten your WTF mug, what's going on with the camera? This new computer stuff is like a nightmare for me because you have to like redo every single setting that there is. It's annoying.
Right.
I am your host, Mr. Christopher, and this is my illustrious co-host, Jeff Page. And everybody can hear me okay? We're good? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's all that it is. Oh, boy. So, yeah, it is Tuesday, August. No, I'm sorry, not even August anymore. It's September 5th. And man, we've got a great show here tonight. No rumors or conjecture, as we had talked about before. No rumors or conjecture.
Nope.
Conjecture. Primarily because of the fact that everything we have for you tonight is factual. I think there may be some weirdness in there, but I'll warn you to not commit to tell your friends at the water cooler tomorrow if there's something that's a little bit wonky. It's all good. Got my regular setup here. I'm really excited about that. And, you know, I'm pretty excited about it. I just, you know, how was your weekend? What did you do for Labor Day weekend?
I spent time, of course, in the studio, but a good friend of mine was having a cookout, and he's one of the kings of the brisket, man. The dude can throw down. So I went and had some tear down food at a buddy's house. So that was cool. That was cool. And he gave me some to take home. So I've been tearing that up the past few days. Like,
yeah, that's the way to go right there, man. Barbecue is always the way to go. I did not have any barbecue. Matter of fact, we went up to Dahlonega is where we went up to because in-laws were up there and they had this little place at the R Ranch in Dahlonega and we were hanging out up there. And they had a big outdoor concert. Now my in-laws, another band.
oh, wow.
And it was fun. I got up there, walked around the little city of Dahlonega, and we ate turkey and cheese on croissant. So there was no barbecue. So I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't do barbecue, but that's okay. It's all right.
Hey, you know what? Time with the family and it's one of those times where even though it's called Labor Day, you have to do the least amount of labor possible. That's what
the least amount possible.
Least amount possible.
All right, so let's get into it. We're going to start with our entertainment news. If I didn't have any type of technical issues, God, I can hear it going out.
Oh, there goes the technical issues.
I can hear it going out. Like literally, I just heard it go out, and I don't know if it's the mic itself, the connection, the actual cord. And I actually do have another cord, so we can probably do this. But if this happens again, I'm going to grab. Which just did. Why don't you skip down to your entertainment news?
So I want to talk about a couple of things either way, regardless of his problem. So we won't worry about that. But I want to talk about a couple of entertainment news things, and this is not all music related, but it is interesting that I found like what the heck's going on. But first. I do want to say, I don't know where you guys are. This is music related here. Aerosmith, for anybody who's a fan, and you have to know Aerosmith, it's just they are starting their farewell tour. So for me, that's an honorable mention, man. That's something I think we should talk about because everybody knows who Aerosmith is, or most people do. And yeah, it's 39 shows up to January of next year. That's a big deal. That's a lot of shows. But yeah, they've been around forever, and you just think that they're here forever, and that farewell tour is just something, you know. And speaking of being around forever, the Rolling Stones also, they've got a I don't know what they call it, a comeback album. I don't even know if we can call it a comeback album, but it is an album, and it's been 18 years, and they're coming back with something. It's called Hackney Diamonds. I think that's what it's called, and I think that's a pretty cool thing for all the Rolling Stone fans. Come on, let's get serious. I mean, another album. Mick Jagger is 80 years old.
That's crazy. Oh I can still hear it.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're in and out. But Mick Jagger is 80 years old, and that's just amazing. And that proves the thing that we keep hearing, and it's never too late. You know what I mean? Like, you can joke about it and crack about it all you want, but at 80, now I know they've been around a long time and have their fan base, but he's 80 years old and they're going on tour. So,
Shut up already. Damn.
exactly. Like, who would
All
have?
right. That literally was just a button that I accidentally pressed. Just, I don't know if it's this mic. I'm going to switch out the mic.
Now you're on and you sound good right now. Like,
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if it will stay. I literally do not know what's going on, because this is obviously this Rodecaster. Oh my God. I can hear it every now and then doing this little clip. Anyways, I should probably just continue doing your news thing, but
cool.
Yeah, Aerosmith thing, we did kind of, I did talk about it. Never mind. Go with your thing.
Alana, I agree with you. 80 and still creating music is fantastic. And I think it's awesome. I've always liked Mick Jagger. So, you know, that's just all to it. And yes, he's the same age as Sly, as from what I understand, but I had confirmed that, but there it is. Kid LaRue, bringing that up. So, yeah, that's an awesome thing. So those two things I think are big time. Non-music, to me, this is huge. This is huge. All right. On this day, today, in 1976, the first episode of The Muppet Show, Jim Henson, The Muppet Show, aired on British television. So, mana, let me just say, this day was the first time that came out. So, for me, that's something. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't know The Muppet Show, you're not a human. So I have to talk about that.
Check. Let's see if this mic gives out. Let me see if it's the mic itself. It's the Sterling mic. Because if I have to hold a mic, this is going to be ridiculous.
Cool.
We have to
everybody hug the Kermit and the Man. And we got, Miss Piggy, the Muppets, and hey, there it is. Mork. We got our Swedish chef. If anything, I think Mr. Christopher and I someday we're gonna have to play the old guys. We just have to sit up in a balcony somewhere and be like, just have a good time with that. So yeah, I think that's awesome. Couple of other things that maybe not necessarily great news, kind of sad. Bob Barker, on the 26th. So you may have heard about it already. Bob Barker from The Price is Right. He did pass away. And that he's a staple diet of anybody, any one of
let's test this one too.
Anybody, he's been around forever. Most people know who Bob Barker is. It was Alzheimer's disease, according to the death certificate. TMZ talked about it, and that was that. And Bob Barker was 99 years old. So he's lived a pretty long life, 99. So yeah, Alana, exactly, 99. And so that's too bad. It was Alzheimer's disease, like I said. And he was a big proponent for that. He was an animal activist, vegetarian. And it's interesting because he'd been talking about or trying to get people or urging fans to go vegetarian in an effort to prevent the onset of Alzheimer's disease back in 2013, I think, for PETA. And one of the things they talked about was not knowing when he was actually diagnosed. I'm guessing it's probably around the same time, because sometimes it takes people something for them to have a mission or a goal and to work for something. So, yeah, sad thing. But again, he was 99, so that's awesome.
I don't know if this mic is going to stay or not.
Okay, let's go with it.
I honestly don't know, and I actually have my laptop here to go into to use it as another option if this continues to go out. So it is what it is. Sorry about
The
that.
hand mic was working well too, so you have that as an option.
It was still cutting out, so I could still hear it cutting me out because it was going dead here, and so I just switched channels over here. So we'll see what happens, and I don't know. We'll see. But
I didn't notice.
Still some weirdness going on. But sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. But it is what it is. All right.
Well, since we talked about Bob Barker, I'm going to bring it back to music for a minute.
Keep it sad,
All right.
All right.
I'll keep it going. I'm going to go back to music on one thing because Jimmy Buffett passed away on the 1st of September. And that's something because everybody knows who Jimmy Buffett is. And if you don't know who Jimmy Buffett is, that's okay too. You know his song, Margaritaville. Everybody knows Margaritaville. So sadly enough, Jimmy Buffett passed away. It was Merkel cell skin cancer, I guess it was, or something like that. Maybe 4 years ago, I guess. His obituary is posted on his website. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go too much into that, I guess, but that's another sad one. So Jimmy Buffett.
All right. Well,
Hey, welcome back.
Well, let me mute this. I'm going to mute that one. Go away.
There you
All
go.
right. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I'll take this off. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I obviously have a short connection in there, but it's fine. We're all good. So we're basically dealing with a lot of sadness, a lot of death. I mean, with Bob Barker and everything, it was like really it's really kind of pretty sad.
It is.
Very sad.
It
It's
is.
it's not a great thing, but it is what it is. So I don't know. Are you ready for me, or do I need to?
I mean, we back and forth, man. Get it in.
Okay. All right. Fine. Get in where you fit in.
Yeah. I could take it away from sad stuff, or we can cover a couple more things and then move on.
All right. It's all good. I'm gonna get back to my normal spot over here. So because I'm looking off that way, so it kind of makes it that way. All right. So I mean, we could also talk about the fact that we lost Smash Mouth singer Steve Harwell, who passed away as well. He passed away yesterday. Matter of fact, TMZ had posted that his family and whatnot had come in, and they had actually only had a few days to live, and he didn't even make it 24 hours before he passed away. But unfortunately, the most disappointing thing was really that he had gotten pretty bad into alcohol, and he had pretty much drank himself to death. So he was primarily liver issues. So
Yeah, he was 56?
Only 56 years old. So that is just unreal to me. That but they had a lot of big hits. I mean, All Star was probably their biggest one that kind of came off of. Walking on the Sun was their very first hit that was big on the radio, but they were a punk band, so they kind of tried out with this little pop scenario, and then what ended up happening at that moment is they realized that pop was selling for them, and they really had a big hit with Walking on the Sun. And then after that, what ended up happening was they had they started covering other bands. They did the Monkees' I'm a Believer, and then of course they did Why Can't We Be Friends by War. So they actually had quite a bit of hits, and that goes without saying that anytime you lose somebody that's, they're really, really good, talented band. I think they were kind of a little bit out of their element because they were like a ska / punk band. That was kind of where they started and where they really were. And so a lot of their initial fan base was kind of really upset about you know, that they went pop, but the reality of it is that it was hardcore paying the bills. So they really couldn't argue with that. The same thing happened with Genesis too. I mean, if you
Yeah.
think back, I mean, Genesis, once Peter Gabriel left Genesis, and then of course Phil Collins started doing the singing, they got really, you know, their fan base got mad at Phil because of the fact that he had kind of turned them a little bit into more of a pop band.
Mm.
And, you know, but they were making amazing money, and they obviously had a huge following at that point in time. But you know, that's going to happen.
It
It's
is.
absolutely
It is.
positively going to happen. But you know,
It's too bad. It's too bad. He
it is.
he was young. I was hitting the older people, but now we go into the young.
Yeah, it's kind of it's disappointing.
Yeah, it
You
is. It
know,
is.
uh, it's just disappointing. But and we also lost somebody just yesterday. Also, we also lost Gary Wright. Now a lot of people don't know who he is, but he was big in the 60s and also the 70s, but his big hit from the 70s was Dreamweaver, and he passed away also, but he was like 80, so
Mm.
he wasn't, you know, so it's not like a young guy, but he certainly was, you know, he certainly was a really great artist. And if you listen to a lot of his other songs outside of Dreamweaver, he had a lot of good, he was really, really good songwriter. And he wrote a lot of songs for a lot of other artists too. So it was really cool. Definitely. Yes. Elena. Yes, definitely. Yacht rock for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, and so let's kind of move on to something that's a little bit more, I don't know how to say it. I guess not death
Not
related
death.
to death.
Yeah, let's move off of that.
Let's move on to stuff that's not about death. I wanted to play this video because I think it's friggin' hilarious, because I watched it, and you know, every now and then, you know, you kind of sit there and you watch things, and I get a kick out of something that I see, and I go, oh my God, this is just amazing. This is a video of a tow truck driver, a guy who I guess repossesses vehicles. And this is an insanely dangerous job. Okay, let's just go ahead and leave it up. We'll take Gary right now. This is an insanely dangerous job. And
Yes.
it is just, I mean, because you think about the people and how passionate they are about their vehicles and how passionate they are about their cars. And you just don't mess with a person's vehicle, especially their livelihood. These people get shot at, get in fights. I mean, they get assaulted all the time. And so I saw this video, and this guy does it right. And I saw it and I said, I've got to show this video. This is absolutely hilarious. This will be a good little icebreaker to kind of break off into the other stuff here. But and then we're going to get into some purple stuff. We're going to talk about purple stuff, just like you want. We're going to talk about all print stuff, no rumors or conjecture, but this is kind of like the segue. Let's watch this video of this tow truck driver who is a absolute positive legend. Check this out. Legend. The dude's a legend, man. Come on now. That's amazing.
I did a countdown from the moment he started backing up, because, you know, from the moment he started backing up to getting it under the truck, the thing, 15 seconds from the, not even from starting to connect it, from backing up.
That is just crazy to me that was it was so amazing that he was just able to come in. He was lowering it as he was driving. I mean, that is just sick. It's so funny. I mean, guy, he didn't have a gun, but he had his garden sprayer. Hey man.
And I saw someone made a comment because he had the side. He was shooting the garden hose sideways. He had the side. That's like some gangster, gangster
Oh my
side.
God. All right, and I did have a couple of things. Yeah, so that guy's a lead. That is our segue as far as that's concerned. I did
Hey,
have a couple of things to go ahead.
let me just say something cool about that is, did you notice there were no backup sounds? You know how trucks, they always have the poop, poop, poop. He got rid of that just to make sure he can back up and take them quick, because there was no sound. It was just done. So, all right, you can go now. I just was like, wow.
Yeah. So all right. So now we're gonna show off a couple of things here, and because I got a couple things in the mail and I wanted to show them off to you. Obviously, last week I showed you some albums and stuff. I showed you some albums from Jesse Johnson and DeCrash and all this stuff. And the final purchase that I had from my Jesse Johnson collection came in shebang, Jesse Johnson's Love Struck, which
Nice.
is very, very cool because I did not have this one. This has actually got plastic on it, so that red sticker or whatever is not. It's not actually on here, but the Love Struck, which is very, very cool. I didn't know that they made this into a 12-inch, but I was very, very happy to get this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's an awesome one. Now, here the other thing is this is also very awesome, and I wanted to show this to you guys. This came from Prince's cousin Chaz. Chaz sent this to me. He didn't put any protector in the envelope, so some of the envelope actually got bent, but this is actually from a folder from the state of Minnesota, and it's the proclamation for the street renaming in Chanhassen. And I know you probably can't see this very, very well, but I did actually have this. I did actually have a bigger picture that you can actually see here, but it's very, very cool. It's from the state of Minnesota. It's actually signed in purple, as you can actually see there. It's actually signed in purple. And it's an act relating to transportation, designated a segment of marked Trunk Highway 5 in Chanhassen as Prince Rogers Nelson Memorial Highway, modifying the Augie Mueller Memorial Highway, amending Minnesota statutes 2022, blah, 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 blah. This bill is properly enrolled and basically is signed in by the governor, which is very, very cool. So this is from Prince's cousin Chaz. This is very, very awesome. And it's actually got an embossed, the envelope the folder is embossed. Yeah, I would love to frame this. I wish it hadn't got bent up or kind of banged up a little bit in the mail, because, it kind of got that crease and stuff on it. But I might be able to kind of flatten it out or something, maybe take an iron to it and iron it out. I don't know if that works on thick paper or not, but
I don't know. Would you iron out the emboss? I don't.
No. I'm going to leave that. All right, so we got that. Let's talk about some musical equipment. You are a musician at heart. I tinker around in music. I am a lead vocalist by nature. That is the gift that God gave me as being a singer. I've been doing it for decades of my life. You have been playing instruments decades of your life. You've also been singing as well. There is some really, really cool instruments, and this doesn't really get to me as much as it does for people who are actually, really good on instruments like yourself. But this is what's really, really cool, is that they've got a brand new. Now, everybody knows that in the 80s, Prince had the Lynn drum machine and the LM1.
LM1.
And what was really, really cool about it is that there was only, if I remember correctly, there was only 400 of them made, which I did not know. I thought there were thousands of them made, but apparently there were only 400 of them, which is one of the reasons why they're insanely expensive if you can find somebody who has one. But what's really, really cool, and this is a neat little thing to add on here, is that they are re-releasing it, but it's called the Luma 1. Now, however, here's some things, though. It is not designed by Roger Lynn, but he approved it, and he did some oversight as well. So it's about as close as you can get to recreating the LM1, and it is coming out. The price tag on it, and I love that the fact that the board inside of it is purple, even though Prince is probably one of the most prolific artists that used it, but a lot of artists use this. Famous artists, Kraftwerk used it. Like, there's a lot of artists that used it. Thompson Twins, like but Prince was obviously the most famous, and he wrote so much of his music on that machine. Now it's being recreated. It's coming out. It's going to have pretty much the same price tag as the original, which was $5,000, which is kind of a little bit different. That's $5,000 back in the 80s, which is probably about what today? I don't know. Probably about 15 now.
Too many grand.
Yeah, too many grand. But this is going to be about $4,900. I think it was $4,950 is what I saw. So $5,000. It's coming out. So if you want to recreate some of those sounds from Prince, this is it's just
It's there. Yeah.
it's coming. It's the machine. So that's pretty exciting. I'm very, very excited about that. And if you want some information on it as well, there is you can go to musicradar.com, and there's like a bunch of information on the specs and whatnot. Another instrument that is being made available, and there's been multiple versions of this, but Jellybean Johnson started talking about it on his Facebook page. That's not it. I guess I must have not uploaded it. Is a guitar called the Freesicle.
Oh yeah,
I saw that, but I guess I'm gonna have to share the.
Yeah, let's see. That was a Schecter guitar, right?
Yeah, if you can pull that up, maybe you can pull that up because obviously I've got a bunch of different things going on here, but the Freesicle, which is a purple bass guitar, there is a version 4 and a version 5. I think when Jellybean talked about it, it was only he just referred to it as the Freesicle. There wasn't a specific version that he had, but the link that Jeff Page will pull up here in just a second is for version 5, which is going to be very, very similar to what was here before.
I don't remember where I saw it though. Where was it?
Well, it's in the notes. The URL is in the notes.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. I'm all over the place. Like,
yeah. The URL's in the notes. He'll pull it up here so you can kind of see some really, really cool photos on it.
Boom.
And this is this is really good. This seems like a guitar that obviously you probably see, according to Audrey says it's Ricky Freeze's. That's why it's called the Freesicle. It's by Ricky Freeze, but I don't know which version. But Jellybean Johnson started talking about it. I did not know about it until Jellybean started talking about it. So it's very, very cool. Can you pull it up?
Yeah, it's giving me some problems, but I got it. Hold on.
I can probably pull it up too.
It's coming. There we go. And boom.
Look at that thing. Oh my gosh.
That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
That's a really nice looking guitar, man. That's
so kind of. I'm gonna go get my charger for the laptop here real quick, but look at the specs on this thing and tell me, and talk about some of the things on this guitar that may be noteworthy to bass players. Anything specific that you want to notate about that, like as far as some of the stuff on the neck too. Talk about that.
Yeah, we can kind of get into that, but I don't know. That some of that is like, if you're not a bass player or a musician, it may not mean anything, but the fact that if you look at it, that whole purple and gold look is just beautiful. I don't do the nerdy talk when it comes to instruments, even though I understand it all because, but it's maple carbon fiber. It's the neck on the neck. It's beautiful, man. I look at it and I was just drooling. I was like, it is a 12 fret and 19 frets. It's going all the way. White dots. Let's see. What's a good thing you might like to hear? Anything. It's probably a beast sounding box. That's all that really matters to me. It is by Schecter. So they make killer guitars, gold inlays, all that fun stuff. It's just beautiful looking.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I was going to get a bass guitar, even if I didn't really, focus too much on, for me, it would all be about the color and just it's all that. So, all right. So there was that. You can unshare that.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Did we cover everything on your, I don't think you covered the NPC stuff. I think we're going to kind of keep it purple, but, what I did want to mention on the Aerosmith thing was that, the Aerosmith thing popped up a few months ago as far as the shows here in Atlanta.
Mhm.
and they've got the Black Crows opening up for them, which is awesome because Chris Robinson has been doing his own thing for a while. So every now and then, because of the tumultuous nature between him and his brother, the Black Crows really don't get along well. They always kind of find some way to fight, kind of like the brothers in Oasis. It's just always a thing. It's like, I don't know. That all being said, the tickets for nosebleed sections for that concert were like $350. And I'm just like, I really want to see this show, but there's only one concert that I saw that I paid $300 for the ticket, and that was Prince on his final concert in Atlanta at the Fox Theater, that first show. And I was in the 5th row. I wasn't in the nosebleeds, so I just don't see, it just doesn't make sense to me. I was going to go see Beyonce here in Atlanta, but it was like the same scenario. It was just like, obviously, I like the music, but I just can't see myself doing that. I just don't, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. It's, yeah. Brian says, if you haven't already, I should interview Freeze. He has a rich, but yeah, I absolutely should. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Right as I was clicking on it, Josh was, it keeps on moving. All right. If you haven't already, yes. Brian, I agree. We probably should get him on the show. We got a really cool special guest next week, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Jeff Page is excited. Jeff Page is really excited. So Henry goes, you paid more for Celebration 2023. And right. And Prince was there. But that's what it is. All right. What are you going to do? All right. We already played the Robin Power video, so we don't have to watch that again. All right. I've got some really, really funny things that I really want to share with you, because let's get into the purple news. We're going to keep it purple just because we need to keep it purple.
Let's do it.
So there is a website that is called gottahaverockandroll.com. And I'm going to have to copy this, and because I was prepared on my desktop, but now I'm having to do this from my laptop. So everything that I had prepped makes me look completely and totally unprepared right now, which is really annoying. But anyways, I want to share this with you because it is pretty friggin' amazing how awesome this is. I've never heard of this auction site, but they have a bunch of Prince stuff that has appeared on the site, and all of it has certificates of authenticity. So all of it's legit. And I think what's really interesting about it is that some of these things, I don't know, some of these things seem to be pretty interesting.
Wow.
They're all pretty kind of expensive a little bit. But anyways, can you see the screen?
Yes.
All right. So here's some things. First off, they've got some original Polaroids that were used for the Chaos and Disorder album artwork. So, like, for instance, you can see these are all clips and stuff. Like this one that's right here. Can you see my mouse cursor?
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah, like this one here in the upper right. This one I can identify as part of the Chaos. But all of these are clips that were used. Parts of these images were used to create that Chaos and Disorder album artwork. And these were the original Polaroids that Prince had taken on a Polaroid to be used on that album cover. And you look at this, minimum bid $8,000 is just insane.
Man.
But they're not all like this. You've got the Prince handwritten working set list for a wedding reception in 1996. Which is kind of cool about this. Obviously, it's in his handwriting and everything, but if you look closely, you can see it's written on the back of a lyric sheet that's got his logo and stuff on it. Some of these are set really expensive because of the fact that the person who's holding on to them apparently has some type of idea of their inherent value, regardless of whether it's legitimized or not.
Right.
But there's a handwritten unreleased NPG newsletter. So I guess they had an NPG newsletter, and he made a bunch of notations on on some of these things. Not all of them do, but he'll make these little notes down here in the corner. So it's actually really cool that you have all these handwritten notes. But this is actually a really neat site that's got a lot of things on here. But there's a contract to perform at the Rock in Rio concert. There's a signed Love Sexy album. Again, all the stuff comes with COA, certificate of authenticity. Prince owned and stage worn 14 karat yellow stage cross necklace, a collection of his pics, handwritten, and that's the personal studio pheromone lyric sheet with handwritten annotations and lyrics, real. I don't even know how sometimes people get a hold of some of these things. I mean, this has to be like lifted from studios or stuff.
Yeah, it has to be.
You just don't, I mean, these things aren't laying around, but stage worn Versace sunglasses. I mean, Versace sunglasses are expensive as it is. And they have a minimum bid of, you could go in and get it for $500. I mean, if you can get a pair of Versace sunglasses, that's fantastic. But ones that belong to Prince, that's a whole different thing. Gold silk shirt, signed color art. But here is the one. So there's like a bunch of different things in here. If you want to check it out, you just go to gottahaverockandroll.com and click on Prince. But the funniest one, I have to show you guys this because this is probably one of the funniest things that I had seen, is this Prince-owned, handwritten, and hand-annotated Graffiti Bridge 1987. This is a long title. 1987 draft script, which got 43 pages with Prince's handwritten notes. And it's real, and it has a certificate of authenticity. And it is the most insane thing that I have seen ever. And I am going to stop sharing here because I did share some of this stuff, made it a little bit bigger. But I wanted to read some of this to you because it is hilarious. What's funny about this is that you always know that when scripts get written, what normally happens is that, there's some types of modifications and, you change things, you drop things or whatever. But some of this, the way that the script was written, it was not used in the movie at all. And I would think that if it was used in the movie, it would have been hilarious. And even the notes that they had, which are only meant to be read by the actors themselves, were insanely funny. No, there's some hilarious ones. So I'm gonna share one of them. So as you can see here, and I need to get this on this other screen here because there is I'm gonna get this here. I'm gonna see if I can read this one. It says, what is this one? You are in darkness. I guess this is supposed to be from the artists themselves. You are in darkness. A blue Rolls Royce appears from nowhere and almost runs you down. You jump to the side in just the nick of time. You're still alive. 3 well-to-do women, furs and pearls, appear from your left. They're standing in front of you, looking you up and down. They seem disgusted. You push them aside. 2 children and their lemonade stand come straight for you. You reach out as a giant hot dog flies by. It's like, what? What does that even mean? How is there a giant hot dog is flying by? But like everything in here, what?
I said, yeesh.
It's like it's so weird as far as what was in this thing. So I'm gonna go to the next one here. This next one is actually written before. It just kind of shows some of the examples of things that were actually handwritten by him that were in here. This one is also funny too. This one is it says Ruthie Washington walks into the spinning spotlight. Super fine, super hard. Ruthie Washington. She is more than 2 cool. She is 3 cool. What? And again, that's not even in the dialogue. That is something that he's using to describe to the reader how they're supposed to be treating her. And the funniest one is this one here, which I laughed out loud and didn't stop laughing for a while, where it starts with Camille, who is, I guess, supposed to be the character in this, because I don't think she wasn't called Camille in the movie. But it says, "Yo, blood, we ain't really up for that fighting tip, but if you like, you can have a dance contest." It said, "Gruff, step the step," or whatever. And Gruff says, "Oh, the step. Why didn't you say so?" I guess that was supposed to be a dance number. And then it says, and again, this is supposed to be, you're supposed to read this in order to understand how your character is going to react. And he says, he starts to dance right over to Big Sister, who looks puzzled. Right then, he steps on sister's corns, the ones on the left foot. Lord, why did he do that? Big sister lets out a scream that would wake the dead. Then, like a Vietnamese with a headache, she commences to kicking all the cutthroats in the butt, one after the other. Like a Vietnamese with a headache. What does that even mean?
I'm trying to.
Like a Vietnamese with a headache.
I don't know, but I might have to use that for some reason. That's something about that. I don't know why. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
So how's your day going? Like a Vietnamese with a headache. It's not a good day. Oh my God. That's just, I was reading that. I was thinking to myself, man, he just, I don't know. He was just on some other level for sure. It's just unreal. But anyways, so this is a really, really cool website. You can check it out, and they've got all this hand annotation stuff, and it is just unreal. What was the other thing too? Okay, I'm going to have to do this now because once again, I'm moving to my laptop. So apologies for some of this sporadic stuff, but
dude, you're handling it like a Vietnamese with a headache.
Without a headache.
Without a headache.
Right. So this one is, again, this doesn't really, there's no tie-ins with any of this stuff, but I wanted to bring this up because what was really cool is that for those who don't follow MVH_photos on Twitters, that is the Twitter account for Michael Van Huffel Photography, who's done a lot of different work for Prince, done some photography work, did some logo work and stuff. But he had actually shared a logo that he worked on for Prince, which I thought was very, very cool. And I never even noticed it because it's such a small little detail that you don't really kind of pick it up unless you're looking at it. Michael said, I've written before, but I was very pleased with myself with the P Control logo. He said he wanted logos for a minute. And the edges of the P and the Y in this image that you can see made a kitty cat head silhouette. And he said he asked me to tone it down some. I never noticed that the edges of the P and the Y made little teeny ears on the edges of that logo to make it a cat head.
Wow.
And I started to think, all these different little things that Prince used to do. Obviously, this was Michael's idea, but, the things that he came up with and that he cleared, if you don't pay really, really close attention, these little teeny little details like that, you'd miss. But anyways, this has nothing to do with anything, doesn't tie in with anything, but I saw it and I was like, that's pretty cool. I'd like to show it to the folks, show it to the Funkatopians, that the Pussy Control logo has the two ears on the side for the P and the Y, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty smart. That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's what a graphic artist is supposed to do.
Right.
Find the nuances and the details. That's awesome. That's well done.
And let's see. Here's another thing that doesn't really have any tie-in, but we've all heard the stories of Prince being a magician on the ping pong tables. He is literally the master of ping pong. Everybody that's played ping pong supposedly with him has been handled. And but Jerome Benton posted a little video from his private collection and kind of showed a little bit of opposite. So here's a little 20-second video, 19 seconds actually, that shows Jerome kind of handling Prince.
Yeah, handling business.
So yeah, let's watch this for a second. So
there's one.
There's one. Let it run to get it. You let it get by. It's going to happen again.
He's like, all right, let's come on. I got you.
And they did it again. So you can't, just goes to show you can't believe everything as you hear, man.
But wait, that second point though,
it went right off the quick. If you look really closely, I did actually zoom in on one thing because I had it up here. It hits the corner of the table and shoots off. So it was actually legit point. So there was actually you got two on them.
Jerome, you're allowed. You can get your video, but
Now, a lot of people are coming to his defense. They're like, no, you made that up, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, first off, that's his thing. But, it could have just been Prince wasn't ready, or maybe this was early in the whole thing. I don't know.
Dude, it could have been his only 2 points ever.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, Prince probably let him have those, and then he'd
Or Jerome could be the one. Jerome could be the one that beats him. That can regulate. Like everybody has that one that they can't take. You know what I mean? He's got his number.
Right.
Maybe that's it. Jerome's got 7.
All right, so now let's get into it. Let's get into it like you guys want me to. We're going to get into some more purple news here. Obviously, we haven't really. We've kept.
Wait. Jerome Benton, I'll play you anytime. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Right, there you go. Heidi says trick photography. He was playing in suits and heels. We'll see.
Maybe they both were.
Maybe. Let's get back to purple news. Outside of Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe Edition that we're going to be talking about, and I want you guys to stay tuned because I'm going to bring some stuff to your attention, because here is something that's really, really important, because you can save a lot of money by going to funkatopia.com/DP, because right now Amazon is selling stuff for a lot less than what the print store is. And we're going to be talking about this too. I'm going to break down the price of this. I made it so it was real quick, so I didn't have to give you a long Amazon string.
I'm sorry, because you have made it like D and P or something. Just DP. You just asking for
just DP. Anyway, I got it myself. Anyways, so Jane's coming in. All right, so we're going to talk about Diamonds and Pearls in a second, but there is new music coming out. Jaden in the picture now. There's new music coming out per Charles Spicer. Again, not rumors and conjecture. We're going specifically off of what Charles said. So we're going to talk about this. So when he was asked about the upcoming 40th anniversary of Purple Rain, Charles stated in Classic Pop magazine, "Of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't do something around the Purple Rain next year for the 40th anniversary for both the film and the album. It's the work that elevated Prince to greatness, so we won't leave 2024 without doing justice to Purple Rain. That's a signature project." So obviously we're talking about, Purple Rain Deluxe was already released a while back. This is, where did it go? There's right here. I put everything on top of it when I was moving stuff around. Obviously, this is a Purple Rain Deluxe here. This is the with the silver backing and whatnot. And this is obviously, this is Purple Rain Deluxe. This is the CD version.
Right.
And the reason why I typically opt for the CD version is because of the fact that, first off, it's got a better chance of being played. My thing with vinyl is I love collecting vinyl. You saw my vinyl collection behind me. I love vinyl. But the problem is I don't like being in the experience of listening to something and then having to get up in the middle of it and then flip an album. But I love the sound quality of it. I love the sound quality. It's cool. The other thing is it's a lot easier to transfer this to MP3 so I can listen to this on the go. Whereas with vinyl, it's not so cut and dry.
It's a little bit of work.
It's a little bit of work. So that all being said, so you already have this. You already have the Super Deluxe, which has already been created. Then, on top of that, if you consider that what also came out was another thing of Purple Rain, which in the form of this box set, the Prince and the Revolution Live, technically this is Purple Rain Live, and you got the whole box set here. So we've kind of, been talking about this a little bit because of the fact that now we're in a scenario where you have, not even considering all the colored vinyl that you have, and on top of that, you also have the situation with the picture disc and everything. There's so many different things that are out there,
right? That
now we're going to have another collection that is going to be coming from Purple Rain, and we've discussed this before, where they're focused on selling items that people are actually going to buy. I mean, if you consider this, the general public is the general public is going to buy.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Like all of us as Prince fans are going to be looking for those big, huge items where, we're going to be really, really happy for like the expanded collections of any of the albums. I mean, any of the albums, and then throw in some other stuff. But the general public, for the most part, is not going to be reacting to this.
Correct.
And they just don't care. Like if there was if there was a super deluxe version of the Come album, it would be, we would run to the stores, the record stores, to get them.
Right. Yes, 100% correct.
We absolutely would do it. But the regular fans, I mean, the regular folks, that were just only know Purple Rain, that's about it, they're not going to be doing that. So this is the kind of stuff they're going to be focusing on, just wringing out every single drop they possibly can with this. I mean, you see all the Purple Rain shirts that are out there. You can't go to the mall without seeing, a kid that's not even 20 years old wearing Purple Rain shirts. And we were out in Dahlonega this past weekend, and a girl rode by on a bike. Like, I don't know how old she was, probably about not even 10, and she was wearing a Purple Rain shirt. So, so we not only need to discuss, what's going to be borderline as far as flooding the market in regards to, Purple Rain. I will show you the screen capture of the actual article that this popped up in. This is the screen capture of, just so you know, that this is not rumor and conjecture. This actually happened in Classic Pop magazine. If you happen, I don't even know what Classic Pop magazine. I don't think I've ever seen this magazine.
Right.
Is maybe somebody out here in the audience knows if it is if this is like a UK or some other where it's from. But he talked a lot in this. But the biggest thing that he said that's in his quote, and yeah, I saw somebody mentioning, because one of the things he said about this quote is that other things are coming too that are Paisley Park label stuff. So we are going to be talking about that in just a second. But the biggest thing in my mind with this quote was where he said, "We'd be remiss if we didn't do something around Purple Rain next year for both the film and the album." Not just the album. He said both the film and the album. So let's talk about a few things first. Let's talk about the film first, more than anything. I do not think that there will be a director's cut of this film. I just don't. I mean, the folks that are quick to state, this is what Prince would do. Prince wouldn't want this, and Prince wouldn't want that. I mean, they're going to be quick to they'd be really, really upset. I think half of them would be very, very upset if there was like a reiteration of this movie. And then the other part would be, like us, I want it to stay true to his vision, but on the same note, even looking back at the Graffiti Bridge script that we were just reading, it was just like, right. How close was it to his vision anyways? But it was so different than what was committed to screen. And I don't think that's necessarily the case with Purple Rain. I think Purple Rain, there were a bunch of deleted scenes that did disappear from the movie. A lot was removed from actual Purple Rain back in the day, and some for good reason. I mean, there's a lot of misogynistic stuff in there, and even borderline rape and other filler scenes and stuff like that that are very just really bad stuff.
Yeah.
There was someone on the inside who had seen the unedited movie and made a partial list of some of the things that were removed. And so I'm going to read off some of the things that, I don't know if I'll read all of them, but here are some examples and some samples of some things that were removed from the Purple Rain movie that may or may not be in this reiteration, not put into the film. I don't think that there will be the film will be taken and then like these scenes that were removed will be wedged in there. I don't see that happening. I just don't see it happening.
Right. No.
What I would see is maybe tweaking out some of the stuff. You get Bernie Grundman or someone in there that's really really good with the audio stuff and making sure that everything is just kind of just perfected. And that would be one thing. But then the other side of it is I could see it being recrafted. And then on top of that, maybe a bonus CD that has like the stuff that was cut out, maybe has the bonus scenes, no rhyme or reason to them, just kind of like outtakes or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I would see that. I would think that.
Yeah. So the first thing is the scene where Prince comes down off of the stage and he comes behind Apollonia when he has his glasses on, he pulls down his glasses or whatever. After that scene, he actually leaves and she tries to run after him, but he gets on his motorcycle and then she kind of runs after him and then he just drives off. Probably wasn't really important to the movie, but those are the types of little intricate little details that were kind of put in there that may or may not have made sense. One of the biggest things that I think some of the bigger components would be like Jill Jones sitting at the piano with a cigarette dangling from her lip, and she's got the police cap, circa 1999. She's got it, she's kind of sitting at the piano, and the song Wednesday that she's singing, which a lot of people haven't heard until the Prince piano on a microphone 1983 came out, when Prince was performing it with just him and the piano from the 1983 recordings with, I guess it was Susan Rogers that actually did those recordings. But so anyways, she's sitting at the piano and she's singing the song. It's a simple bar tune, and then a chick is working in the corner. His bodyguard chick is working in the corner, kind of chuckling to himself, and he's stacking chairs and whatnot and sweeping up. And then suddenly she stops and she jumps up and she deliberately spills her orange juice on the piano. And then Prince comes around the corner and stops short. And this happens just before she gives him Wendy and Lisa's demo of Purple Rain that she wanted him to hear. So there's like all these teeny little scenes. Obviously, there's a scene, the barn scene I just saw somebody reference, where there is a pretty intense thing that happens in the barn. That is a stuff of legend, obviously, because there were people that were on set going, man, they were actually doing things in that barn. And then you have Apollonia, who was like, nothing happened. We had on underwear, it was fine. Nothing was going on. It looked romantic. It looked a lot more than it actually was. And they were both like insanely nervous. And, I kind of believe a little bit of that story, but there's just so many conflicting stories. But obviously the barn scene is something that people would want to see from the film.
Right.
Again, these are clips that could possibly be put onto like an outtake type of reel, which may or may not work, but this could well be reading way too much into his quote about doing service to both the film and the music. But you've got music in there too. We can talk about, but there's a bunch of different things in there. I'll eventually post all the little things on the deleted scenes from Purple Rain. You can go to Google and you can search deleted scenes from Purple Rain and you'll find all kinds of stuff. But if you talk about, they can't inject those things into the movie. It's not possible to have any continuity. It would be, it would cost them millions and millions of dollars to do that. Film, it's just so much money to kind of do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Prince had a big hand in editing the film. I just don't see them making modifications to that. I just don't. There's just not enough time to do it. Even if there was just something, well, let's see what we can do. They couldn't do it. It's just not enough time. That stuff takes, it's just so much.
Right.
And then on top of that, it's dangerous because, the purists are going to be screaming foul. They're just, it's like a Mona Lisa. It's like, you can show me the paints he had at his disposal and he could have used.
But don't repaint it.
But don't touch the painting. You know what I'm saying?
Don't redo it.
Yeah, it's just, don't touch the painting.
Right.
So as for the music from the film, we already talked about it. We have, gosh, where did everything go? Why is everything disappearing? You have the deluxe edition, which actually featured quite a bit of unreleased tracks. You had, the Katrina's Paper Dolls and Velvet Kitty Cat, and we can she's not here. You have so many different things that are on here. You got the version of God. You finally got the full version of Father's Song, but also the version of Father's Song that is actually in the movie is a lot more haunting and a lot more piano. Plus, on top of that, you also have all the incidental music and all the score music that is all littered through the film as well. You have all of the stuff like Des Dickerson's in the Modern Air doing "Be a Modern Air." like all those things. Plus, Jill, like I just mentioned, you have Jill Jones performing Wednesday. There is a lot of music that is still out there, and a lot of music that is from that era, because they covered 1999 into Super Deluxe. They covered Purple Rain into Super Deluxe. So you're talking about that 83 to 84 window that would only make sense to kind of put them on one of those two collections, but there's a bunch of songs that were missed.
Right.
I mean, Body Heat, Feline, Gotta Shake This Feeling, Traffic Jam, All Day, All Night. There's so much. And of course, you got all these alternate mixes as well, like we just saw with what's coming out with Diamonds and Pearls, with the Insatiable mix, the new, it's got a bunch of new content in it. Now, we're going to talk about that too. So I think that's interesting in itself. There's a lot that they can work with. I don't know if you want to speak to any of that, but
no, I think, like you said, there's a lot of options and a lot of things. I really feel like the best thing they can do is the original thought, extra scenes, deleted scenes, maybe soundtracks, or music that was not used, that could have been used, or that was originally slated to be used, things like that. I think that would be a big deal. And honestly, even though you were saying that a lot of this is, of course, catered to the hardcore fans, even with Com and all those other things, if they market properly, if they would actually advertise and market properly, I think they'd get a lot more sales than just the hardcore fans. Only because, like you said, it is Purple Rain, and it will make people go, oh, and because he's passed, and you bring out the Com and special edition version of that, and you market it properly, I think it would pull more people than just us. I just believe that. But it requires proper marketing, which, as we know, certain groups are not known for. So that's the key. And that's the hard part. They have to spend money to get the marketing properly done. But I think they'll make it up on the back end. If they were smart, they would do that. That's how you continue to grow.
Right. Agree. And I think there's just so much that they can do. I mean, when you look at his body of work, there's so much that they could expand on, for sure. So much that they can expand on. And that's ultimately what all of us Prince fans want, is we want to hear everything that he did. And we want it now, and we want it yesterday.
Yeah.
And the problem is that, like Billy's fuck, this is a business.
Yeah, the problem is that's a ridiculous request. That's the problem. Calm down. You can't have it now.
Right. Because the other part of what he mentioned was the other part of that interview that Charles did. He said there most certainly is going to be super deluxe sets of Prince's later music. He said he's always creating, and there's so much music that we've got a lot of happy work on our hands to figure out how to release it all. So when we look at, all the stuff that, discography wise, the furthest back that they went is 1999. You've got 4 albums that existed before that, right, that people are still considered historic albums. Specifically, even when you're talking about Dirty Mind and Controversy, when he was in that writing mode, where that writing mode started, where you don't not only have some, you have extended versions of Ronnie Talk to Russia and all these things that are off of the Controversy album, the Dirty Mind albums, and it's just some of that stuff is just super, super raw. Plus, on top of that, you have lots of concert footage that you can get to, like the Capitol Theater show that's out there, professionally shot too, and that can easily be available and made part of a deluxe edition for some of those early albums. But, we're still not even talking about his biggest selling heyday parts of this, which is in the mid to the later 80s, when you still have Around the World in a Day that you can use to kind of build deluxe editions around. Parade, that we've talked about on this show repeatedly. We've talked about Parade and how, it was such a huge album. That seems like Parade, it doesn't make any sense that album was not, because Kiss is Prince's biggest selling song out of his entire career.
Right.
If I remember reading that correctly, out of all the singles that he had, Kiss is his biggest. And since that comes off of Parade, and you've got a movie tie-in, so you've got more incidentals and more scores that you can actually work with, and a bunch of other things you can work with. Plus, you have Sign of the Times, which we already got the deluxe edition of that, which was fantastic. That was an artwork. So there's so much that they can work with. But then you start talking about even going, like he's saying, Prince's later music. You know, even if you're still in the 80s, you still got Love Sexy and Batman to work with too.
Right.
I mean, there's so much work that's to be done. And, you know, you guys know there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of unreleased songs that are sitting in there, and thousands if you consider the different iterations of each one of these songs that he did. Because even the song Love Sexy, the title track for that album, has 4 different versions that I know of that I actually have that is vastly different from, not vastly different, but very noticeably different from what landed on the album. Stuff that other people would love to hear. So you've got all that, but then you start getting into Diamonds and Pearls. We've seen this now. It's coming. It's coming.
Right.
We got a couple of new tracks. We're going to talk about these couple of tracks that they dropped too. I know that our last show, I talked about Diamonds and Pearls, and I talked about this deluxe edition, and I went over all the songs and some of the background on them. We talked about some of the controversial nature of Schoolyard, all the different tracks that are on there, some of the songs that I had not heard of before, like Alice Through the Looking Glass. I had not heard of that until somebody sent me, I didn't remember that until somebody sent me a version of Sheila E. performing that song at the 2002 celebration, and I was like, I do remember hearing this song and loving it.
Right.
But that version is very, very different. And don't worry, before the show is over, I'm going to play you that Sheila E. version. I'm going to play you a nice clip of that song because I want you to hear that track because there's some really, really cool stuff happening there. But again, you got the 90s, you got Love Symbol, you got Come, you got the Black Album. I mean, the Black Album was technically supposed to be in the 80s, but you got the Black Album, which has a whole life of its own.
Absolutely.
The Road Experience, Chaos and Disorder, Emancipation. Emancipation is 3 CDs as it is. Crystal Ball, The Truth. I'm not going to talk about The Vault because that was really kind of like a hit piece from Warner Brothers. But Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic. And everything that happened in that one night alone. I know Rainbow Children has kind of gotten a colored vinyl edition that was done for it, which I love. I think that's one of my favorite albums of his. But the reality of it is that period of time between that and his Vegas residency, when he did all those countless nights of just jam sessions where people were sitting in and just like, and all of those nights, every single night that he was in Vegas, all those shows and all the stuff that he did in the bar and all the stuff that the private little after parties and all of that stuff was professionally recorded.
Right.
So you're talking about, I don't know how many songs that is, but there's like tons of really beautiful, just breathtaking versions of like Joy and Repetition, Question of You, and all these just amazing recordings that existed that are just breathtaking, that came from that period. That one night alone period / Rainbow Children period was insanely productive. There was a switch that flipped with him during that time where he really kind of got into it and became a lot more involved in the music progression and just kind of creating things like that had a really heavy jazz influence. And, with Larry Graham coming in there and kind of holding the bottom down, but then he was bringing other people in like Najee and, did you get Renato Neto in there and you get, it's just that whole era is filled with stuff.
Right.
And then of course, you go further into the 2000s, you start talking about, and that jazz stuff continued with Expectation and News and stuff like that. But you get a little further into the 2000s when he's starting to get on the charts again, which is unheard of with Musicology album and 3121. And okay, well, and there was Planet Earth too, and you had Lotus Flower in 2010.
Mhm.
You had those things, but now think about this. I'm just spitballing here, but what about, just speaking off the top of my head? Well, not really, but because I've thought about this before. What about an NPG Music Club box set?
Ah.
A box set for the
NPG.
NPG Music Club that has Slaughterhouse in it, has Chocolate Invasion, the stuff that was made, and you have all those tracks that you had in there, plus you have all the audio shows. I think there's 6 or 7 of the audio shows. An NPG box set, NPG
Mhm.
Music Club box set. You can get Sam Jennings to come back in the mix, and you pull up all that artwork and all that stuff that he has in his archives, from all the artwork that he had, from all the websites that he built. You get all that stuff. You get all those audio shows. You get all that. There is so much to work with here. And they
Right.
know it. The estate knows it. But again, we're in and just to kind of wrap this up, you also have Plectrum Electrum and Artificial Age.
And Artificial Age.
You have Hit and Run Phase 1 and Hit and Run Phase 2. But what's interesting about that Plectrum Electrum and Artificial Age era is that when he was working with Third Eye Girl, what happened in that period of time where they were kind of popping up on YouTube and popping up on these random places and releasing songs like Octopus Heart and releasing songs like Menstrual Cycle and all these really amazing jam sessions, and they were really fantastic. Though were pretty well recorded. There's some things that were a little bit over recorded, like too hot in the mix, but
Right.
I think those are things that you can probably fix. But all that stuff was recorded in the studio, so you could have. Here's what it all boils down to: the estate is only going to be focusing on things that are going to sell. And
Right.
while everybody here in our bubble, we talk about this bubble all the time, everybody here in this purple bubble is going to be buying whatever. You tell me what
Correct.
you
Doesn't
want,
matter.
we'll say whatever. There's a reason why they bounce around the way that they bounced around. 1999, one of his best-selling albums. Purple Rain, best-selling album. Sign of the Times,
Sign of the
best-selling
Times.
album. Diamonds and Pearls, best-selling album.
Right.
They're intentionally skipping over some of the ones. Around the World in a Day was a really good selling album, but was it enough?
Wasn't one of the best sellers, right? It wasn't the top.
Enough
Right.
to
Some banging hits on it though.
Absolutely.
Ah,
Around the World in a Day is a masterpiece.
absolutely.
I think it's fantastic, and there's so much stuff that's there. And musically, as far as going back into the catalog, man, 85, you just stop the presses. Holy crap. That's one of the biggest years for Prince. Do I still have that sheet that's sitting around? I don't know if no, I think that's a letter one. That's not a year one. But yeah, they're focused on what's going to be able to sell.
Right.
And to the general public. Like if somebody's just happening to get, it's Friday night, got paid, and you're walking through Walmart and you look over there and you're like, oh, all right, I may be interested in that. Most people are not like us, where we're kind of just sitting there going, all right, when's it coming? When's the next?
Hit the button.
Where's it at? Add to cart, it's just it is what it is. We're going to buy whatever. But do we constitute enough of a fan base? Because do we constitute? We do. I know that we do.
We do.
But do we constitute enough of a fan base to warrant them putting all that effort into giving us the deluxe edition of?
We'll see.
Parade. Parade, I think, is another winner. Easy across the board.
We would. First of all, we do.
Yes,
we do. But what would make a difference is if they would spend enough quality time making these the way, like feeding us like they should, like we would like them to. And I'm not talking about everything coming out. I'm just talking about keep that effort of making a really quality, deluxe set, like they did with Sign of the Times and things like that. But once they start doing that properly, then we'll anticipate anything they do from then on. It's all about what they do now affecting how much they can push later. You know what I'm saying? If we get amazing stuff every time they do it, then they can start putting out the smaller, not as big hits and whatever. It's still going to sell. It's going to sell even more because we're anticipating all those extra things. You look at the chat and people are bringing up all these songs that they wish they would hear and that they wish they put out. We'd buy it. But it's about what they do now when they put them out, and how much attention to detail they give us with what they sell us. Because if they don't do that every time now, then you start talking about any of those other songs and any of those other as special releases, people are gonna go, oh, it's Prince, yay, but I don't know. That's just gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I see a lot of people commenting here. I'm sorry, I was rambling, but I wasn't paying attention to the chat, so I'm sorry, I'm catching up right now. I see a lot of thumbs up for the MPG Music Club box set.
Yeah, it's an awesome idea.
I mean, because a lot of people, some people weren't old enough to even pay that, or to even, were lucky enough to be members of that.
Right.
So there's so much there that people have never heard. A lot of people have never even heard those audio shows. And it's just, it's amazing. There was, somebody made a comment here about archives of Elena. Elena said a scrapbook from the NPG Archives Museum.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, and we've had Sam Jennings on the show before, and I've shared this before too, is that Sam has taken all of the websites that he built for Prince and has actually put them online, and they're active websites. You can go through them and you can relive them whenever you want. All you got to do is just go to princeonlinemuseum.com, and you can actually click on Explore the Timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of the websites that Sam Jennings built for Prince is here.
It's
ThirdEyeGirl.com, the Prince 2013, Lotus Flower, 3121 website from 2007, 2006, the MPG Music Club files. All of them are here. One song, Love for One Another. All you do is just simply click on it, and it takes you into the actual website. And you can actually, some of them are operational. Well, they actually do have them. So you just click on them, and there is actually a plugin that you have to get to for Adobe Flash, but you can actually do it. But every single website is here. So if you want to check out some of Prince's old websites, just go to princeonlinemuseum.com, and Sam has put all of them up there that he built. That's and right. it exists. And again, we talked to him in detail about this, and it's very, very cool. There is so much out there. But all that being said, I just wanted to I find it interesting that, Charles was talking about that. But another thing that he said, which I also thought was interesting, was that he said there's a great possibility. He was talking about the fact that some of the people, the artists that were on the Paisley Park label, are also going to see reissues like the Long Out of Prince albums, like Jill Jones.
Right.
So Jill Jones albums is going to see a reissue. That will be very, very cool to see. I would love to see this Jill Jones reissue. And on top of that, there are a bunch of tracks that were not included on the original one that you'll see pop up from everywhere. They just pop up from everywhere. Then on top of that, it's the 25th anniversary of Shaka Khan's Come to My House. And apparently, we're told, according to what he said, this is the 25th anniversary of Shaka Khan's album, which he made with Prince, Come to My House. That's being re-released this year, for example.
That's awesome.
So he's already divulged that we're going to be getting Diamonds and Pearls, the deluxe edition. We're going to be getting that. And then on the top of that, we're also going to be getting this Shaka Khan Come to My House reissue as well. Now, a lot of people say a lot of stuff about these reissues, but these reissues have been coming.
Right.
If you go to store.prince.com, most of the albums have been getting reissues.
Right.
And my only issue with the reissues are that they some of them are not done from the original tapes.
Mm,
From
mhm,
what I heard, okay.
mhm.
Again, this may be a rumor and conjecture thing, but I've heard from people that were close to the scenario that they're using, DATs and things like that, certain types of files to recreate these vinyls for different sound reasons or whatever, and that they're not necessarily using the original tapes for the reissues. They're
Oh,
simply doing them in order to put them on colored vinyls or whatever. And so I don't know the legitimacy of that, but I can tell you that if you're going to do a reissue, go back to the tapes, go back to the original tapes if they're in good enough condition, and let's
well,
start from the core.
uh, I think the only piece that's missing, and this is the thing that if they really remember the times that we're in, regardless of the music, they can pick some of the greatest music, but if they really want to maximize sales, this is a visual world we're in now.
Yes.
It is a visual world. We love the audio, we love the music, but with everything that comes out, there needs to be something visual. There needs to be a video, something that hasn't been seen, but it is a visual world, and they need to capitalize on that because that's what's going to draw people into everything else. We have to see something. Um, just all the best releases when we had pictures that we hadn't seen before, all these great photos, those sold bigger. We know that those are going to sell more. We know they will.
Right.
So show us the concerts, show us the live stuff, more visual, live concerts, pieces, excerpts, sections, whatever, not just music. And I think that's going to make the difference on everything, whether they re-release it or whether they reissue or whatever. They can all day long. If you add the video, the visual element, that's where the sales are going to go up. Plus, it allows us to show the people that still they only know Purple Rain or they like Prince, but boom, visual. It's a visual world. They're not going to sit around and, oh, well, let me hear it. You show them a video or something. Oh, wow, I didn't know he did that. So
Right.
that's where they need to capitalize. That's the
Now, and I
push.
told you this, we've had this discussion before. I'm sorry if I made myself bigger for a second, but they have the power to be able to really shut down the bootleggers
No.
because they have everything that they need.
Yes.
I have downloaded a lot of bootleg material because I'm curious to hear stuff that we're just simply not getting. I think there's only been a handful of bootleg physical product that I've ever purchased, just because it's the reality of it. But this was one of these prime examples. This was the last one that I picked up only because I was interested in it. And that was this one here, Prince Piano and a Microphone from the Paisley Park Prince Piano and a Microphone. This one here is an entire box set that's done very, very meticulously, that has tons of material, including a remake of Tickets. They're doing full blown.
Right.
It's everything is in here. They literally have recreated this entire and they used from whatever files. Obviously, these are not master recordings. I mean, they got them from whatever the sources that they got them in. But the reality of it is that a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, you bought this! You're supporting blah blah blah." Blah. Okay, calm down for a minute, because I wanted to see this. I wanted to see it live, and there's only way that you can actually do that. And I wanted to listen to it, and of course, when I listened to it, I was very disappointed.
Right. Of course. Right.
I was just very, very disappointed that of the quality of it. But the thing that's more disappointing than anything else is that the estate has all of it,
and
they
the
have
quality.
And the live recordings are there. They can circumvent. They can really do damage to the bootleggers in a major, major way by putting this out in an official manner. And they have so much material to work with, just like you're saying, in the live shows, that they could easily make it so that they're beating the bootleggers to the punch.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, absolutely.
They literally could beat the bootleggers to the punch.
Yeah. And it's not about,
and in legit quality.
right. Right. And it's not only about just hunting down bootleggers, because it doesn't really matter what they do
We're
or
not
how
hunting them down.
quickly they do it. Bootleggers will always exist and they will always create. And that's okay. That's fine. It is what it is. I mean, it's not okay, but it is what it is.
Right.
But if you had a choice between the Beast, the Beast recordings and the Beast stuff and a bootleg version, which one are you going to choose? And so all they have to do is pay attention to what they're doing and pay attention to what's happening and see what's been selling and what's not, and just knock it out the park. Just not
I mean,
and get ahead of it. That's the hard part. Like, people just afraid to pull the trigger. Just get ahead of it. Even if something wasn't at the top quality of what they wanted to, if it came from the estate, it's still going to sell bigger than anything else.
and a lot of stuff can be remedied. Obviously, it's based
Yeah.
on how they recorded it or whatever.
Absolutely.
But I mean, that's part of the recording process. I mean, with One Night Alone, recording for the Rainbow Children tour, I mean, they obviously went in with a specific purpose. But you've got tons of recordings like the Montreux Jazz Festival. I see, Monica was talking about the South by Southwest 2013 show. She said she was there. There's so much that's out there right now that you can get it. And a lot of people get on my case about it. Why did you get that? It's because I am insatiable. And that's not a pun. I'm saying I literally am insatiable when it comes to getting everything that's out there in the Prince world. No matter where it comes from, I want to hear it, especially
So you're the problem.
if I haven't heard before. I'm just like, I don't care. I just don't care.
So you're the problem. You just
No, I'm not a problem. I just have I have a problem.
I get, yeah, right, exactly. They need a PA meetings. Prince Anonymous. You need to. It's a 12-step program.
Yeah,
It's a
so
21 step program.
Yeah. So somebody asked, where are the masters? As far as I know, all the masters are over at Iron Mountain because they're there in a temperature regulated area that's all keeps everything protected. It's just protecting everything. And Sharon Nelson is trying to do something different. Last thing I heard is that she was trying to get the recordings away from Iron Mountain because she wants it back into control of Paisley Park and we're back home. But I don't know that that's necessarily a great move or not. I don't know because a lot of people had issues with them moving it to Iron Mountain. A lot of people felt one way. I kind of feel like if you are in a secure, that music is in a secured location that nobody can get into, that nobody can walk away with stuff, that is completely 100% 24/7 monitored, climate controlled, all the things that Paisley Park is not, then just keep it there.
Right.
Just keep it there. So there are a lot of people. Elena says, I think Dwayne Tudall has permission to dig into the vault. Yes, actually he does, because he's an archivist. So it's him and like a handful of other people that know everything that is in there.
Exactly.
So yeah, in my opinion, I think I don't really have a problem with it being in Iron Mountain as long as I know that it's secure and nothing's going to happen to it, that it's not going to burn down, that it's not going to melt, that it's not going to degrade, that it's not going to mildew, that that's the things that you have to watch out for, and that's what Iron Mountain does.
That's what Iron Mountain does.
I would say just leave it where it's at and just keep it where it's at. Now there are arguments to the contrary. But I just don't think it's a good idea to bring them back into Paisley Park unless you're planning to set up some type of facility that will accommodate that. They said that where it was stored was horrible and that it was not climate controlled and this, that, and the other. And I don't know. I don't know exactly where they were stored. I don't know what the condition of that vault. I've seen pictures of inside there. It didn't look like there was anything other than a big storage area.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, let's be realistic. You have to think about when the vault was created, or when it was built or put in, or however they got it there. Times have changed, so there would have to most likely be some upgraded situations or a new vault or something. Something would probably have to be done. And the fact that it's a facility that they open to the public, there's a lot of things they need to do ahead of time. that's just important, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of things they have to do. They would need to do to prepare. So,
And so here's the other part of this too. There's tons of other artists that were on Paisley Park label. There's a lot of people that, you know, I mean, one that I can think of right now, Carmen Electra. Carmen Electra.
yes.
Now let's think about this now, because if you go back in time, you have to remember that Carmen Electra's album. Well, let me just play this commercial for you, because I think it's really, really important that you understand how impactful Carmen Electra's album was anticipated to be. Let's watch this together.
This is our future. She is the scariest female on the planet. She is inevitable. She is addictive. To listen to her music on a loud system is to come 1,000 times. Carmen Electra, Paisley Park, Warner Brothers, CD and cassette.
I had sorry.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, I re-listened to the album and I didn't come once. It must be my system, is all I gotta say.
I was braced for it and everything.
It was inevitable,
Nope.
but
No.
Prince could market.
That was a great. Yeah. They did a good job with anticipation.
At least Major Instrument was like,
Yeah, absolutely.
1,000 times seems excessive, but
I mean,
I mean,
I mean,
time to head to the record store.
I could do that in a week, you know.
Oh my God.
That's pretty
yes,
funny.
I mean, the impact of that album on your own sex life was unparalleled. Anyways,
What?
it's you know, it's just what it is.
That line just kills me to come 1,000 times.
Yeah, the fact that they mentioned that
You could have left that out. I would have more intrigued. Once you said that, I'm like, okay.
and the part that gets me is the delivery. Delivery. She is inevitable. She is the scariest woman on the planet. It's like she was reading off of cue cards. She is inevitable.
I can only do one word at a time.
The scariest. Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah. That was.
Oh my God. So yeah. That all being said, we're going to be seeing some reissues of some of the albums.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it should be interesting, I suppose. I kind of agree. Who said it? Somebody said, I can't. Well, something about we don't want to see her abomination of a door, and yeah, there it is. And I do agree with that. I do agree with that. There are some things you don't need to do as a part of your re-release, like hide something. You know?
Yeah. So. All right, so let's move on from that. We can kind of move forward in regards to what we can expect to see coming. That's really awesome that we can expect to see some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're going to get the Diamonds and Pearls deluxe edition, which I'm going to save you money on here in just a second. A few minutes.
Announcement.
More than a few minutes. But I'm going to save you some money, because you need to know what's going on here, because this is the same thing they did with the Sign of the Times Deluxe Edition. And if you're not paying attention, you're just throwing the money away. So I want you to stay tuned. We're going to talk about this. So the same focus, or the same folks that found the early notations throughout the registries for the Diamonds and Pearls box set released. They also found signals in the registry for the Dream Factory and Camille. Very interesting that this is popping up in the registry too. So I am going to share this now. These two album covers that you're seeing on the left-hand side are just fan-based. Well, not fan-based. The top one is fan-based that shows Wendy and Lisa, and then the puffy blimp that says Dream Factory on it. That was a fan artwork. The one below it that says The Flesh, that was actually done by Susanna Melvoin, Wendy's sister, who was in a relationship with Prince. But that was that was an album cover that she designed for what was supposed to be the Dream Factory. I always assume that everybody in the chat room that is watching our show are hardcore Prince fans that know every little thing that there is to know. That's typically what the connotations I get from the dialogue. But I also know there's a lot of people that are quiet and silent because they don't want to say things, or they don't want to ask questions because they don't know a lot of the history of some of this stuff. But for those who don't know, Dream Factory was an album that was being put together that was going to be the next Revolution album after Parade. And what ended up happening is that Prince was sending music continuously to Wendy and Lisa on a regular basis, and it was like, take the song, can you flesh it out for me? Let's kind of come up with some stuff. And they were writing tons of stuff. Like a lot of the music that was supposed to be on this album were really, a lot of it was crafted by Wendy and Lisa. Now, it was Prince's ideas, but they really had a lot to do with that. A lot to do with the music on that album. But what ended up happening was Prince decided, never mind, I'm just going to fire the revolution. And he just dropped everything.
Just like that.
Just like that. Goodbye. And just dropped them. Just dropped the band. And he obviously held on to Dr. Fink. And Eric Leeds was still kind of in the mix. But, the revolution was basically toast. It was gone. And all the songs that were supposed to be on this album, all the songs that were on Sign of the Times were actually the culmination of two albums that we're about to talk about: Dream Factory and Camille. And we'll talk about Camille in a second. But Dream Factory is like all the other, a huge chunk of the songs that were on there. Now, I will tell you that I was able to find some of the recordings, a lot of which came from various sources. That's all I'll say. That have the segues and stuff in this configuration for Dream Factory, and I've played them in this order on put the Dream Factory album together with the songs in this order, and it was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. This would have been the next unbelievable, incredible selling album. Not that Sign of the Times wasn't, but this album would have been just fine in the configuration that it was, and it would have been fantastic. And there's like so many segues where songs kind of bleed together, and I actually put it together. I found all the segues. I think there was only like one or two pieces that I didn't have, but I put it together, and it was majestic. So sometime in the near future, I will do that again. I do still have all those pieces, and I will play Dream Factory for you guys again. But I can tell you the Dream Factory was amazing. But here it is coming up in the registry with the layout. So apparently this is something that they're thinking or considering, and it is, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it's here. Now, I don't know what they're going to do for an album cover. I don't know if there ever was some type of album cover that was decided on. They have a couple here, but I can tell you that the Dream Factory will not include Wendy and Lisa only on the cover.
Right.
That won't happen.
That won't happen. That can't happen.
Anything, I mean, when Susanna Melvoin made that album artwork, the band was to be called The Flesh. As a matter of fact, if you guys have heard the leaked outtakes from You Gotta Shake Something, which is like, there's like different versions, but there's like a 30-minute version of You Gotta Shake Something. Eric Leeds did a fake DJ voice, and he goes, "Here's the next song from Flesh.
From
You
the
gotta
Flesh.
shake
Yeah.
something." That is, so they were calling themselves the Flesh at that point in time. Anyways, all that being said, this is another configuration that's coming. We don't know when or what's happening, but this is something else that popped up on the registry. This technically could be considered rumor and conjecture. They could just be registering it for the sake of protecting their IP. I don't know. I'm just telling you it's popped up on the registry. The other thing that's popped up on the registry is put the wrong thing. The other thing that's popped up on the registry is Camille. So Camille, again, to speak to those folks who may not know all the story, Prince was putting this album together called Camille. That is basically his alter ego. His female alter ego, and all those high-pitched female sounding songs that you all know and love, which include the 8 tracks that would have been on Camille, Housequake, not in this order, but Housequake, If I Was Your Girlfriend, Rebirth of the Flesh. You can hear his voice. You can hear that sped up female entity of his voice. But again, Housequake, If I Was Your Girlfriend, Rebirth of the Flesh, Strange Relationship, Feel You Up, Shockadelica, Good Love, and Rock Hard in a Funky Place. That is the configuration of Camille. And that's what this album was supposed to be. But again, after he decided to fire the Revolution and decided to recreate the band in its entirety, then what ended up happening was he took all those songs from the Dream Factory and songs from Camille, and he meshed them together. Obviously, there was a lot of songs that did not make it on it, like Adonis and Bathsheba and Colors and all those other songs. There's a bunch of songs that fell to the wayside, but for the most part, the tracks that came from Camille and Dream Factory were put onto Sign of the Times. And Sign of the Times became now Sign of the Times is supposed to be a triple album, and if Warner Brothers had allowed him to do a triple album, those songs that had shaken out would have been on there, but they weren't.
Right.
So you ended up just getting a double album, and then some of that stuff just kind of fell by the wayside. So the last thing that happened with Camille that came up in the news was Jack White from the White Stripes. He actually was in a bidding war trying to purchase the one of very few Camille albums that were pressed. And he was in a bidding war trying to get this, trying to win this. And apparently the first time he lost the bid to Questlove. And I don't know what Questlove got it for, but the second time another one came up, Jack White won the second auction, and now he is a proud owner of the Camille album, and it basically cost him $49,375 to win Camille.
Gosh.
So now he's got it.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Jack White owns a record label called Third Man Records. And there's some other people there. There's some other owners, too, that are in the mix. I think there's like 3 people. Jack White, Ben Blackwell, and I can't remember the third person's name. But there's 3 of them, hence Third Man Records. And when he got Camille, he contacted the estate and he asked them, can I officially release Camille and get the rights to it? And they gave it to him.
They gave it to him.
This wouldn't be an NPG Records thing or a Paisley Park Records thing. This would be, or a Warner Brothers thing. And I don't understand the reasoning behind it, but he was given the rights to release Camille. Jack White of the White Stripes was given the rights to release Camille. And so he was real excited about it. He actually talked about it on one of the late night shows. I want to say it was with Jimmy Fallon. I want to say, I don't remember which one, but he was on one of the shows and he was really excited that he got it. And so it is going to be coming out, Camille. We do know this, but no dates have been set. Nothing has been written in stone, but Third Man Records has the rights to do it. And it's coming. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's be interesting. It's just
I just need to take a breath. So that's
yeah, no, I think that's but again, we'll hear about it eventually. It's just, he's had the rights for a while now, but there's been no discussion about when it's going to happen, but it will happen at some point. So
yeah, Chiari was talking about he said, while they're on the albums, it could have been, why doesn't anybody talk about High? I know that most of the songs were released on Chocolate Invasion and Slaughterhouse, but it'd be nice to hear that configuration. That configuration was really interesting. For those who don't know, High features Prince nude on the album cover once again, assuming he's nude.
I don't know now.
Those that don't know, we had Gilbert Davison, who was Prince's manager during that time of Love, Sexy, and Everything Else, who broke the internet by telling us, which had never been released before, that Prince was not naked on the cover of Love, Sexy.
Love, Sexy.
He was actually wearing green shorts that they airbrushed over. And everybody was like, what?
Right.
So that's the thing. Anyway, so to go back, but yeah, that was Prince naked on the cover of High also, and he's holding a guitar strategically straightforward. Anyways, yeah, I don't know why. I think there may have been some issues with that configuration. It just, maybe that album didn't flow the way it was supposed to, but that happens with a lot of stuff where he kind of comes up with an idea for an album. And then because of the capacity that he has for, the volume of music that he has going through his head right now, it's just kind of like, no, this is a better idea. Let me go with this.
Right.
As you saw with the Dream Factory and Camille shaking out to be Sign of the Times. And then a lot of that stuff that was on Camille either ended up on B-sides or, Shockadelica was a B-side. It wasn't
spread out. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, there was just things that just didn't happen. And then of course, Colors and what was the other song that Lisa had wrote? There was two that were specifically written by, one was written by Wendy and one was written by Lisa. Obviously those were strategically removed from the album because he disbanded the Revolution. So those songs were not going to be on there.
Right.
Anyways, so in going back to Jack White, Prince actually knew Jack. I can't remember. There was somebody that Jack was dating. I don't know if it was his wife now. I don't know what it is, but they were at a concert together and Prince started talking to Jack about his guitar playing and made some type of comment regarding, don't worry about what other people think about your playing, because Jack White had just got done doing a song for a James Bond movie, and it was called Another Way to Die, and he did it with Alicia Keys. And my guess is that because of the fact that Alicia Keys was in the mix is probably why Jack White ended up on Prince's radar. Everything kind of, flows together because Prince avidly followed Alicia Keys. But all that being said is that Prince knew Jack. Jack was a huge admirer of Prince, like most of us are. Anyways, that all being said, Dream Factory and Camille are also popping up on Registries, so might we be able to see some of that stuff? Yeah. But for 2023, Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe Edition is what we're going to be getting, and also the 25th anniversary of a reissue of Shaka Khan's Come to My House, which should be interesting. The album didn't sell very well. I don't really think that many albums that ever were on, no offense, but no albums that were on Paisley Park label really did well.
They didn't.
And that was mainly because of either the marketing, which you kind of got a little bit of a sample of with the Carmen Electra stuff, was either marketing or a lot of it had to do with distribution also, because when he decided to kind of take things out of the hands of Warner Brothers, he lost all that distribution channel. Then what ended up happening is he had to do everything on his own, and then he didn't have all the contacts with the distributions to all the record stores that were out there and all. It's just it is a racket for sure.
Yeah. At that point, it becomes a very slow burn when you're doing it yourself. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
So, anyways, that all being said, let's go ahead and talk about diamonds and pearls. We're going to speak on this a little bit because I am going to talk. I'm going to save you major bank here with Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe set. Okay, I'm going to save you $64 off of that Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe CD set, and I'm going to save you $91 on the vinyl set. That's a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money out of the gate, but
it's a lot.
$100, almost $100 off of that is pretty ridiculous. Matter of fact, I think I'm just gonna do this just for a second. I'm gonna talk about it just for a minute.
Do it.
Because I know I've been teasing it and I want to talk about it just for a minute. And then I'm going to rewind and I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell you about a couple things that we also know about this DMP Deluxe Edition as well. One of the things being the origin of that concert that is going to be on this Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe Edition. A shout out to @PrinceThreads on Twitter, who did a really cool Prince thread on the source of that concert, which is a really cool story, and I want to share it with you. So I'm going to share that with you. And I'm also going to talk briefly about the Insatiable early mix that was released, and also the Alice Through the Looking Glass that was released. And I got a couple interesting tidbits about those that I kind of uncovered as well that I want to share with you. But I want to talk to you because I've already been teasing enough about this saving money thing, so I'm going to talk about it. And Heidi says $64.94, money that can go towards an Aerosmith ticket.
Here it is.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I was just doing it. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. So here's the thing. If you would like to save some money, I would suggest absolutely, positively, 100% buying this set on Amazon. And I actually made links for you so you don't have to search around for it because it's not quite obvious as you would think. So I made it real simple. Funkatopia.com. That's FUNKATOPIA.com/DP. Or if you want the vinyl set, that's for the CD one. If you want the vinyl set, Funkatopia.com/DPV for vinyl. And I'm going to break this down for you. On Amazon right now, this CD collection is selling for $127.99. Okay. If you are an Amazon Prime member, which most people are,
right,
either because you forgot to cancel and it renewed on you, or
you got movies,
or you actually keep it. But on the Prince store, it's $159.98, roughly $160. So it's $128 on Amazon, but $160 on the store, in the Prince store. And if you buy it through the Prince store, you have two forms of shipping. You can either spend $7.81 and it gets on the slow boat media mail.
That's right.
When it gets released, and you'll get it like a week or so after it's already been released and everybody else has it. Or if you want it on the release date, they'll charge you $32 to get it. So it's $160 plus $32 in shipping. So the thing about it is that on Amazon, you can get the CD deluxe version, but Amazon, it's free. You get 2 days shipping free on Amazon. So on Amazon, you'll get the CD deluxe version for $128. But if you do it via the store with the shipping, it costs you $192. So you save $64 by buying the CD set on Amazon. So to get that deal, you don't have to go through the Funkatopia link, but I made it easy for you. Funkatopia.com/DP for Diamonds and Pearls. Funkatopia.com/DP. You will save $64 if you buy it through that link instead of buying it through the print store, because you get it on Amazon and you'll get the free shipping from Amazon. And even if you don't have Amazon Prime, their shipping is pretty friggin' reasonable because they have this massive deal with USPS. The other thing is for vinyl, okay, this at the print store, the vinyl set is $350, $349.98. Just add 2 pennies and it's $350. $350 for the vinyl at the print store. And again, if you want that faster shipping and you add the $32 for the shipping, it's $382 to get that vinyl set, the one that's on the far right, whatever it is you're looking at, because it's far right if you're looking at it. $382 in that print store. On Amazon right now, that vinyl set is under $300. It's $291, $290.99. And you get the free shipping if you have Amazon Prime. That is $91 less to buy it on Amazon. Now, I said, a lot of people get upset when I say, well, I'm supporting the Prince estate. I'm supporting this. Okay, you're still. It doesn't matter. I've said this last time this happened.
You still are.
It does not buy it. It does not buy it. I mean, it does not take any money out of their pockets.
Right.
It does not. You are still supporting the estate. You are still supporting them by buying this music, no matter how you buy it. I see somebody saying that you can buy it on right there at Electric Fetus.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter, because the reality of this, with the packaging and everything, if you're looking at it, the amount of money that they're making on this is excessive. It doesn't really matter. They're going to get money. I'm just telling you. And we want these collections. I've already ordered. I don't know if you've ordered or not, but I don't know if this sale is going to go away. Right now, the reason why the pricing is the way that it is on Amazon is because of the fact that right now it's being marked as 20% off on Amazon. So that's the reason why the pricing is what it is. I don't know when the pricing is going to go back up. Right. I just know that for the CD set for Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe, it's $128 on Amazon with free shipping. And with shipping on the store, it is $160 plus $192. So it's $192 to buy it from the store, the print store, or $128 on Amazon with free shipping. That doesn't. It doesn't. They did the exact same thing with Sign of the Times, where they had this massive discount on Amazon. When they announced that this was coming out and it came out of the print store, I was going to buy it. I had it in the cart. I click add to cart. And then when I got to the shipping and I saw that they were going to charge me $32 to get it in time.
It's just like, wait a second.
I was like, what? I said, I'm going to gamble because I'm willing to bet this is going to happen again on Amazon, where they're going to release it on Amazon. I'm going to get the free 2-day shipping. I may get it I think a day after it actually officially gets released to people. That's fine, because it actually comes the day before our Tuesday show. So we will do an unboxing. I think I would get it with the 2nd-day shipping. I'll get it on Monday, and I'll be able to do the unboxing the very next day on Tuesday. So, and if you're local, you can go to Electric Fetus and get free shipping from Electric Fetus. They also have it there. But again, Steve's is saying there's 50% off on Amazon Canada if you're in Canada.
Wow.
So that all being said, it's 20% off right now on Amazon, and you will save $64 by buying it on Amazon for the CD set, and you'll save $91 off with the vinyl set on Amazon. And again, I set up the links for you. It's funkatopia.com/DP for the CD set and funkatopia.com/vinyl for the vinyl set. So, I'm sorry, DPV. Yeah. So funkatopia.com/DPV for Diamonds and Pearls vinyl, DPV, or just funkatopia.com/DP for the CD set. And it will take you right to those pages where you can order, get that 20% off, get that free shipping, and save money. So, a lot of people still asking, no hologram. I don't see anything. This was a question that Andre brought up. And last time we did the show, and I don't see there's anything that's going to be going on with the hologram. I don't think there's anything that's going to be happening there. It was a really cool little thing that they did. It is what it is. But I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way because I know I've been kind of, tinkering with you guys and talking about,
leading up to it.
I've been kind of teasing that. So I wanted to go ahead and skip forward a little bit and talk about this deal because it is an amazing deal. It's an amazing deal.
Yeah.
So, if you could, the fact that I was able to save $64 by going to Amazon doesn't make any sense. That's craziness. And here's my thought process. If you're the estate, and I know that there are, I know that the estate listens to this show only because I get the emails. I'm telling, if you're going to do a special or a deal on Amazon, reflect the same deal in the store.
Right.
If you're going to do 20% off in Amazon, do the 20% off in the store, because while it may just be a bookkeeping thing and maybe, somebody's not updating things across the different channels, they do have systems in place to do all that, where if you change the price, it will effectively do it across all the channels that you sell it in.
Correct.
For whatever reason, you're not doing that. They're being individually handled. But here's the thing. The way that it's perceived by people is that you're taking advantage of them. And
that is the perception.
I'm telling you, when this happened last time, when they did the Sign of the Times Deluxe Edition, it was the same scenario. It was it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. It was a big difference. The problem is that people were so mad that I was pointing that out because they had already purchased through the store or whatever, that they were just mad at me. And I was just like, I didn't do this.
Right.
I'm just trying to tell you, I want you to have this. I want you to buy it. I want you to have a reason to want this. But the problem is that if I can save you money, I'm going to save you money.
Right. And again, the estate's still getting paid. It's not like they're not getting paid.
You're not
taking the release. It's getting counted. It's getting reported. It's getting handled the way it should. So
you're not taking money out of their pocket.
Not at all.
They're getting paid no matter where you buy it from.
That's right.
Now, I will say, and this is something that we did not talk about, I will say that I'm already seeing some insanity with the singles collection that they had. I don't have a picture of it, on the print store, they had a singles collection that was essentially the artwork for each one of the individual singles that were released from Diamonds and Pearls, along with their B-sides and whatnot. And then
limited release, right?
It was a limited release, and I actually can pull it up right now. I'll actually share this with you. It was a limited release, and people bought it up. It is already sold out. So it's already sold out. It's got the single for Get Up, Cream, Insatiable, Diamonds and Pearls, Money Don't Matter Tonight, Thunder, and Alice Through the Looking Glass, and people are already, they don't even have this in their possession yet. I don't think. I don't think does this get released with everything else, or is this already in people's possession? I don't know this.
I think some people do have it.
Yeah, I think this was not. This is not a wait. This was because the singles already existed. People bought this, and it was on sale. I don't remember does anybody remember what the pricing for this was? I want to say it was maybe $80 or something like that. People are selling this for $1,000 on eBay right now because it's limited edition. They got it, and all they did was purchase it, turn around,
just to resell it.
Just to resell it. And this is going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, that's the reality of it's going to happen. Some of the stuff, whenever the Minnesota Twins have a Prince night, and they always give away like umbrellas or they give away rain jackets or whatever. All you got to do is just go to eBay the next day or two after the game,
It'll be there.
put it up there, and you can get one for like $50 or whatever. It's like, why would you spend $50 on that? Well, let's see. What would it cost me to go to fly up to Minneapolis, to rent a car, to buy a ticket to the baseball game,
Right.
and then
Eat a hot dog.
I mean, even if I spent $200 on it, I would still save a bunch of money just to get, it's insane. Oh, Lawrence said it's $129. It was $129 for the single set, but they're turning around and they're selling them for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I bought the Hawaii box set, the Princeton Hawaii box set with the velvet thing or whatever, and I was going to turn around and resell it. I've had no luck. I still have it, and it looks like I just own the Hawaii box set. I can't find anybody who wants to buy it from me. It's just like, all right, well, I got the Hawaii box set. One more thing that will end up at Goodwill once I die. So
I don't know. I think it'll end up in Jeff Page's place, but it'll end up somewhere.
No, yeah, it will. Yeah, it'll end up. Yeah, there you go. We will. There's going to be stuff to be resold, I'm sure. Anyways, let's go back so we can kind of wrap some of this up because I want to talk about a couple of the things here. So there you go. You can save money. Jeff Page will leave that scroller up. They'll show you where you can get that deal. Funkatopia.com/DP to save yourself $64 off of that CD set for the Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe Edition, and Funkatopia.com/DPV in order to get the vinyl collection and save $91 off of that set as compared to buying it directly from the print store. You can buy it from Amazon instead. It still counts towards their sales. They still get paid. It's all good.
Do it.
Take advantage of inconsistencies, my friend. It's just the reality of it. Hey, you know what?
What?
I will lead folks over to the print store and I will tell them that's the best way to buy it once I start seeing checks written in my name.
Right.
But again, I feel like, I've been doing this for many years, supporting the estate and supporting, I've just supported Prince, and I've been doing this for a really, really long time. And neither the estate or Paisley Park have ever sent me anything. They've never given me access to anything.
You don't have to justify sharing good information.
I just feel like, hey,
yeah, no.
If this is how, I'm gonna. That's my bitch and moan session for the day. All right, here we go.
You know what? We saved the money so that they can become Patreon members.
We want you to save money so that you can actually put it aside, so that you can save up for the celebration next year. Because
that too.
Here's what I'm telling you: next year, 2024, will be the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain, which we just talked about as far as what's going to be released. And I guarantee you, again, you can consider it rumor and conjecture, but I would be shocked, like taser gun from 5 different size shocked, if the celebration did not do anything that had to do with Purple Rain and that 40th anniversary.
Right.
There's going to be something that's going to be happening at that celebration that's going to be heavily revolved around Purple Rain. And I can tell you there's going to be performances that are, I know it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It hasn't been announced, but I'm telling you, it's got to be. If they don't, it's insanity. It's insanity. It's going to be. All right. Let's move on. Last show, we discussed every single track on the deluxe edition. We kind of talked about some of the songs that were on there. Jeff Page, you were out of town, so it was just me. But I talked about all the tracks that were going to be on Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe Edition, including some of the ones that, were not dropped. So if you want to hear me chat about that, just go back to a couple of weeks and you can see the show. But there's a few notes I wanted to add, because I'm not going to rehash the Diamonds and Pearl Deluxe Edition show. I'm not going to do that. But there was a few little details that popped up that I really want to share with you because I thought they were cool. First off, the songs the estate had dropped on the streaming platforms, and also I want to talk about the concert that's going to be included with some neat little tidbits. First, let's talk about the release tracks. The estate released 2 tracks, which was Insatiable, which is a song we all know and love, but this particular version that they released on Spotify was called the Early Mix - Full version. And also another song called Alice Through the Looking Glass. And I have 2 comments on those songs before we talk about the concert. First, I want to talk about Insatiable. And what's interesting about Insatiable is everybody loves that song. It's a very, very sexy song for sure, obviously. But I listened closer because as I was driving on this long drive back from Dahlonega over the Labor Day weekend, I was listening to some of the things that he was saying in that part at the end of the song where he's kind of talking about, we're gonna record this and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
all that stuff. And I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't listened to this new version yet. But what's interesting is I laughed at the dialogue that was in this version that they edited out of the version that we all know and love. And so I was like, do I just not remember it correctly? Because I want to kind of go back and look and see what's there. And I played them side by side, kind of listening to see what was edited out. And some of the lyrics from the early version, again, were taken out of the final ones. And I'm going to share a couple of lines that were taken out that I thought were funny. Well, not that were funny, but they're just very, very different. One of them is, when he talks about, I can't remember the exact line, paraphrasing, but when he talks about recording and he was just like, the little red dot, he says, after that, he says, go ahead, turn the camera on. I'll just pretend this is a private movie. I had a little wine, nothing a little stronger. So baby, I'm a little gone. Yeah, that's what I'll blame this on. So I thought that was kind of humorous that he kind of added that in. That now he's a little drunk in this.
Did he blame it on the alcohol?
He did. He did. He absolutely did. The other line that was in here was, do you mind if I hold your hand? It's just that I missed you. Can you understand that? It's like, do you hear me, baby? And my favorite one with Insatiable is, we all know the line, you say you want my hips in the air. No, I don't care. That line, the way that he says it, it's just, I don't know. There's something about the way that he says that line is just, for a guy, it's just kind of like, okay. But what's funny is that the follow-up line to that in this early version is, he says, you say you want my hips in the air. No, I don't care. But in the early version, he also adds, if my boys, if they could see me now, they might laugh, but it's just you and me and they don't know the half. So I think it's funny where he talks about the fact that the hips in the air part, but then he adds in, if my boys could see me, they would laugh at me because I'm in this awkward position. So there's like a bunch of little lyrics that are in this song that I think is funny.
I just picture like the stair, the ladder, like leaning back.
Yeah, it's just so
Wow.
anyways, if any of the ladies felt some sort of way with this song, this is the extended version that's kind of really adds some stuff to it. And there's like a bunch of other lines in there too that were also edited out of the version that you know and love. So it kind of adds the length of the song, and I think you'll like it. It's if you haven't had a chance to sit down, pay attention to it, it's really, really cool. Definitely put the headphones on, check it out. It's a romantic song. Then romantic in a / sexy way. Anyways, if any success happens with a romantic song, that's typically where it should go, or you're hoping anyways.
I'm sorry.
It's getting late now.
Lawrence.
This version will make you orgasm 1,000 times.
That's Nice callback.
Yeah, nice callback. That's good. That's good. The other one I need to open these tracks because the next one I want to talk about is the track Alice Through the Looking Glass. Now, I'm going to have to be careful with this one because of the copywriting scenario that's going to occur.
Here we go.
Obviously, but so I'm only going to play a little portion of it. But there are two. When I mentioned on the previous show a couple weeks ago that I was not familiar with Alice Through the Looking Glass, somebody sent me a copy of Sheila E. doing this song at the 2002 celebration. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do remember this. But it was like one of those things, oh, now I heard it, but I didn't have it. So it was just kind of like, oh, I heard it. That was awesome. I'll never hear this again. Luckily, somebody sent it to me. So I'm very happy and thankful that somebody sent it to me. I'm going to play you a clip because it's also happens to be floating around on YouTube as well. So if you wanted to listen to that version on YouTube, you can. And I am going to anyway. I'm going to share that with you in a second. Anyways, let's first play a piece of the track from Alice Through the Looking Glass that the estate has released that Prince does. Mm-hmm. And while this is very, very cool, it's not as good as the Sheila E. version. I hope I don't upset people by saying that, but you'll see why. It's like I think when Prince kind of creates these songs at first, he has an idea and the basis and the foundation for the song is there. And then the artists kind of come in and they take it and they just beef it up. And I'm sure that Prince had a heavy hand in beefing this up for that 2002 celebration.
Right.
But it is a woof.
They fleshed it out.
Oh, man, they fleshed out this song. And it's really, really cool. But let's listen to Prince's version first, a clip of Prince's version. Let's start there. And then we'll play the clip of Sheila's version so that you can kind of hear the difference. And I'll play a little bit more of Sheila's version because there's no copyright on this one because it's not out there. So we can kind of have a little bit of fun either way. So without further ado, I will shut up. Let's listen to Prince's version, or a little clip of Prince's version of Alice Through the Looking Glass here. And let's just try it out. Here it is.
She said, I don't care, no, baby, that's all right.
Right?
I got a job to do.
Uh-huh.
I'll hit the light, come and see Alice Alice through the looking glass, 'cause it's gonna go up fast. Nobody's ever left it. Alice through the looking glass.
Okay, so that is a clip of her. You heard that okay, right? Again, I'm doing everything from my laptop, so this is a totally different thing. Now, I'm going to play Sheila E.'s version that she did at the 2002 celebration. I'm going to play a lot more of that one. And you're going to see the vast difference of this song. And I'm going to let you guys enjoy this for a little bit, at least a minute or two of this, because it's freaking fire. And you can find it on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and search for Prince Alice Through the Looking Glass. You're probably going to find his version that the estate has released, but you'll also find Sheila's that's out there too. But let's take a listen to this. It's not on Funkatopia site, so the estate don't have a problem with me. I'm just saying this is out here. But I want you to hear this and check us out. Here we go. Let's try it.
She said, I don't care, no, baby, that's all right. I got a job to do. Now hit the lights, come and see Alice work. Alice through the looking glass, going slow, going fast. No man is everlasting. Alice through the looking glass. Come on, see Alice through the looking glass. Come
Yeah.
If this Sheila doing her thing.
All the country hours testify, glorify. Don't worry about the tears rolling from their eyes. Come on, come on, come on. God is so
Okay. 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 I feel that.
Anyways, that is Sheila's version. Very, very different. It was sped up. It's
Yeah.
more funky. There's a lot of that ding, 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 that very 80s thing that he was doing in the latter part of the 80s, even though this is happening in 2002 with the celebration. That version is friggin' fire. And
Yeah.
I would hope that that would see the light of day in an official capacity, because I don't know. I would assume that anything that happened within the Paisley Park walls, celebration-wise, was recorded professionally with all the correct sound equipment and everything leveled out the way that it's supposed to be. I don't know where those recordings come from, like the one that we just heard.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, Sheila's version is funky. I'm not saying that I don't like Prince's version. I'm just saying if I had to choose between the two, Sheila's
Again,
version is just get you pumping.
yeah, I mean, it's live.
Yeah, of course it's live.
So
I mean,
it's
everything
going to
is
have a
live.
different energy anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So and of course, just like Joshua says here, he's probably recorded a dozen different versions. This whatever one that they just released is the one that we're going to be seeing in the Diamonds and Pearls deluxe set. It's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
that all being said, I'm very excited for the deluxe edition. I'm also very excited that I saved so much money waiting and rolling the dice and buying it on Amazon, because I was so upset when I got there. I was like, man, $160 for the CD set. I was like, oh my God. I was like, so much money. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then when I got to that cart and they were going to tack on $32 just so I get it in time, I was like, oh.
Right.
I was just like,
Right.
now we're talking about right underneath $200, and I just can't. I'm just not doing it right now. And then when I saw it on Amazon for $127 with free shipping, I'm like,
Yeah, it's kind of no
all
brainer.
right,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. At that point, it's a no brainer. It's like,
Yeah.
not so much.
yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're just Funkatopia.com/DP. Funkatopia.com/DP. Save yourself some money on this deluxe edition for Diamonds and Pearls. Save it.
Yep.
Save
And
that money.
Funkatopia.com/DPV for the vinyl.
Yeah, if you want the vinyl. Both of them. All right. So the last thing we got tonight, we only got two more announcements. One more thing to talk about with the Diamonds and Pearls thing. And again, this was I did not know the concert that's being included with this Diamonds and Pearls collection. I did not know the story behind the concert. I mean, obviously it's a concert, but I did not know the story behind it. Luckily, there is a Twitter account called Prince Thread, at Prince Thread on Twitter, and they actually shared the story of exactly what happened with this and the story behind it. So I wanted to share this story with you. I'm actually going to share the screen so you can read along, because I think this is really cool, because it's very, very important to understand the source of this concert, so you can kind of get a little bit of perspective of where it came from. So let me share the screen with you real quick, and we'll go through the story, and then we're going to close it for the day. All right. So again, at Prince Thread on Twitter, you can follow them and they will kind of give the story. But it says, today in 1991, I'm doing this for the audio folks when we release this on Spotify and whatnot. Today in 1991, Prince was going to play his biggest European show to date. 75,000 fans from all over Europe were expected at Blenheim Palace in the UK on August 31st, 1991, and then it got canceled. What happened? Here is a Prince Twitter thread about the show that never was. It says, due to the announcement of the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition, we've seen many links to the Awesome Prince and the MPG rehearsal footage from the summer of 1991. But what were they rehearsing for? Didn't the store start as late as April 1992? As indeed it did, but it was not supposed to go that way. Prince played the Special Olympics ceremony that summer, some showcases, and of course the MTV Video Music Awards, but there was supposed to be an American tour that year as well. The previous year, Prince had played one-off concerts in the US before heading to Europe for proper tours. It happened in 1987 at First Avenue, 1988 at Paisley Park, and again in 1990 at Rupert's Nightclub and St. Paul's Civic Center. In 1991, he wanted to reverse the process, a one-off in Europe, followed by a full tour in the US. The latter never materialized, and the first, well, it was a mess. Announced by the promoter Diamond Productions, Prince and the New Power Generation were to play a one-off show at the grounds of Blenheim Castle in Oxfordshire, UK, billed as the Summer Extravaganza, and it was supposed to be modeled after a traveling carnival. And as you can see here, they've got the graphic. Well, if you can, you're looking audio, but it's got a graphic for Prince talking about this summer extravaganza that has Prince, New Power Generations with special guest C&C Music Factory, Color Me Bad, Crystal Waters, Heavy D and the Boys, all appearing on this summer extravaganza. So apart from the performing bands, fun fair rides, roller coasters and big wheels, and a circus, artists such as jugglers were announced also to support, just like I read, Color Me Bad, Heavy D and the Boys, Crystal Waters, C&C Music Festival were added to the bill. The event was announced in July and aimed to draw 75,000 visitors from all over Europe. In many countries, tickets were sold in combination with coach tours to the Blenheim Castle grounds. Roughly 20,000 tickets were sold before the first red flags began the show. Things started to unravel in the first weeks of August, though, when Diamond Productions seemed to be in financial troubles and were way over their heads. It was their first big production, and they were not equipped to pull off such a massive production. All the while, Paisley Park Enterprises has been in talk with Diamond Productions and had seen the tragedy unfold in front of their eyes. Supposedly, Prince even offered to reduce his fee so that the show could go on, to no avail. With a little over a week to go before showtime, there was no sight of any personnel to start the production. With no confirmation on when and if a stage would be built, the Duke of Marlborough, owner of the castle grounds, withdrew his permission to use his Oxfordshire estate. And then, of course, it shows here for your audio folks that the Duke kicked Prince and everybody off of the property. Diamond Productions insisted they could pull off a replacement show on a later date, but failed to provide any financial safeguards. Also, insurance companies were backing out. Eventually, the house of cards they built collapsed, leaving the ticket-buying fans empty-handed. Prince was upset and ordered his team to recompensate the fans whatever the cost. All ticket buyers were given the opportunity to exchange their Blenheim ticket for any of the 1992 European Diamonds and Pearls concert. This supposedly cost him at least $800,000, where there was no legal obligation for him to do so. British promoter Barry Clayman Concerts, promoter of the 1992 Diamonds and Pearls shows, said that this was the most generous gesture by any artist I have ever known. In the aftermath of all this, the U.S. Diamonds and Pearls tour was postponed and eventually fell through. 5 days after the Blenheim concert was supposed to take place, Prince did give one of his most iconic TV performances, though, obviously in the form of the 1991 MTV Music Awards, where he appeared with his butt hanging out, which wasn't his butt, it was just flesh-colored fabric on his pants. But anyways, that all being said. And, oh, the irony, in the end, Prince and the New Power Generation ended up doing one U.S. warm-up gig at Glam Slam before heading off to tour outside of the U.S. The good news is, that is the show that will be part of the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition, available October 25th. So,
wow.
That is the whole story of what this show is that you're going to be getting with this Diamonds and Pearls collection, which is pretty cool. And that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It sucks that it happened that way, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have seen the Diamonds and Pearls tour, but, not many folks did. So, All right. Well, I hope you guys had an amazing time. Here's what I'll tell you. That's all that we have for tonight. But I do have one more announcement, and that is that next week, our show will be on Wednesday, not Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. Normally we do our shows on Tuesday nights, but next week we're doing it on Wednesday night because we have a very special guest that will be joining us Wednesday night. And she is currently on tour, and that happens to be one of the nights that she has off, and she has worked us into the schedule.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you right now, you need to be, what's the exact date on the, let me pull this up because that is, I want to be able to mark a calendar. That's the 13th.
The
13th. So mark your calendars. Next Wednesday, not Tuesday, that's the 12th. Wednesday, the 13th, 9:13. Very special guests are going to be joining us live right here. We're going to be welcoming Nick West. Right here on Funkatopia.
The beast.
Nick West is going to be joining us Wednesday next week. Wednesday, not Tuesday, Wednesday. So she's going to be here, and we're going to be hearing, of course, her Prince stories, and of course, she's going to be talking about her existing tour and everything else. And that will be Wednesday. So be sure to be here next week. It's going to be so much fun. And
love it. Love it. Love her.
Yes, of course. And it's going to be awesome. So I hope that you will join us next week, Wednesday, for Nick West. I hope you guys had a fantastic time with the show. And here's the other problem is that I can't even turn up. Oh, wait, I can mute everything else.
Yeah, I'd like while you're doing that, I do want to say, guys, you need to support us, Funkatopia. Or you can go to again Venmo at Funkatopia, Cash App, $ Funkatopia. Obviously, patreon.com/Funkatopia, patreon.com/Funkatopia, not Funktopia, Funkatopia. Guys, spend time with us, support us, help us. It goes towards the show and all the things that we do for you. So we really appreciate you hanging out with us. And we did go a little bit longer than expected. And, we appreciate everybody who stayed. And it's always good stuff, especially with Nick West coming.
Yes. Nick West show is going to be amazing. We'll have purple news for you as well, but we'll have plenty of purple news with Nick West. I've seen people asking, who is Nick West? Look it up. Just all you got to do is just search for Nick West, N-I-K, not N-I-C-K, N-I-K West, Nick West, and you'll be able to find out all kinds of information about her. And it's amazing. It's going to be a lot
go
of
to
fun.
YouTube and check out her videos. She's got some awesome bass videos.
Yeah. And she has stories about jam sessions with Prince and all kinds of it's Prince loved Nick, and you're going to hear all those stories next week on Wednesday, not Tuesday. And I don't know, I'm going to have to turn this up over here because I'm on my laptop, so I don't really have anything else other to do. It still works. Good night, y'all. If you missed anything, we'll be on Spotify tomorrow, all right? Bye. I worked through all this technical stuff. I hope to have these technical issues. This wasn't too bad.
No, you got through it.
This wasn't too bad, but I mean, I wish I'd had my old system back, but all right, never mind. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming. Bye. Good night. Go to bed. Go to bed. Y'all got to work tomorrow. Bye. Purple power, y'all.